Candlestick Park in San Francisco is sold out, as they always are. And last year, the Falcons defeated the 49ers twice. The Niners have not forgotten it, and frankly, no love lost between these two teams. Hello again, everyone. I'm Dick Stockton along with Randy Cross, and with all the glittering offensive performers on both sides of the ball in this game, you would think that we'll have some fireworks for both sides, and probably we will, but there is some vulnerability in the Falcons secondary today.
Oh, there definitely is in the Falcons secondary. You have the big weapons of the 49ers. You talk about any of them you want to. The big man is very frustrated, and that's Jerry Rice. But against the Falcons, the Niners have to be patient. If they catch him in a blitz, they can get Rice one-on-one, and that usually means 6 points.
You know, if you're the Falcons and you have Chris Miller having a great year in their red gun offense, they look at some problems that they could take advantage of in the San Francisco secondary.
They have some great weapons. Drew Hill, Michael Pritchard, Andre Rison, and the fastest man in pads, Michael Haynes, is a guy. If he gets single coverage today against these defensive backs for San Francisco, he can go a long way. He's done it in the past against the Niners. Look for him all day.
And we have a beautiful day. We had overcast skies and a few sprinkles early, but it's cleared off. 66 degrees and not much of a wind to speak of. The 49ers have won the toss, so it'll be a little while before we see the red gun. Norm Johnson will kick off. Mark Logan and Amp Lee will be back deep for the Niners. Lee is on the right. The Atlanta Falcons have won 7 straight games against California teams. They were 7-0 last year against teams from the Golden State. And the kickoff is short, and it'll be taken by Amp Lee, who bobbles the kickoff, recovers, and is downed on the 10-yard line. Michael Reed made the tackle, a miscue on special teams. Steve Young, he can be a threat running or passing, and he brings out the 49ers offense and a very fine offensive line. Wallace, McIntyre, Sapolu, Foster, and Barton. Brent Jones, the tight end. #1 offense in the league. Sensational Ricky Waters and Tom Rathman in the backfield. Jerry Rice and Mark Sherrard are the wide receivers.
An early mistake like that by the special teams, Dick, really sets up Atlanta in a position to attack on defense with the Niners backed up.
Starting from the 10-yard line. Penalty marker down, and the pass to Brent Jones is complete to about the 17-yard line. Jesse Solomon and Jesse Tuggle, 2 inside backers, make the stop. Here's Larry Nembers, our referee, and the penalty will be against the Niners. Not the way George Seifert wanted his team to start this game.
Motion on the right tackle, number 79 offense, 5 yards, repeat first down.
That was Harris Barton, the right tackle. Defensively for the Falcons, their base defense, Mike Gann, Mo Gardner, and Tim Green. The linebackers, Tippin, Solomon, Tuggle, and Connor. Tuggle leads the team in tackles. McKyer, the former San Francisco 49er, and Bruce Pickens at cornerback. Jeff Donaldson again at free safety, and Louis Riddick. So a young, inexperienced secondary for the Falcons. It'll be first down and 15.
This is a pass audible here.
Ricky Waters goes in motion, and Young looking to throw, and he's going to be trapped again at about the 7-yard line by the nose tackle Mo Gardner. And a gain of only 2 yards will bring up 3rd and long.
Now here's what Steve Young was looking at. He's looking at a defense that wants to attack him, wants to keep pushing him back, and he called an audible on that play. A little quick 3-stepper. But the Falcons weren't blitzing. They brought 4 on the rush, dropped 7, and he didn't have anywhere to go.
2nd down and 13 coming up for the 49ers. They bring in Odessa Turner as an extra wide receiver, and they'll line up to the right. Falcons counter with Chuck Smith as an extra defensive lineman to put pressure on Young. Young on his own goal line fires, knocked away by Pickens. The pass was intended for Odessa Turner, so the Falcons have come out strong and have buried the Niners. 3rd down coming up.
Well, they ran off the defensive backs with that play and tried to drag underneath with Turner. The Niners were lucky there. If Pickens would have broke on the ball, that would have been 6 points. And this is a nightmare kind of a start for any offensive team, especially an offensive line. You know, the Niners have probably the most versatile offensive line there is in the league. They pull, they run, they pass protect excellent. but every defensive lineman and linebacker would kill for this situation, just going after a quarterback.
They can tee off here. 3rd down and 13. Young firing, and his pass is caught and out of bounds, and a 1st down. That's Odessa Turner. Bruce Pickens covering on the play, and a gain of 30 yards and a 1st down for the 49ers. How demoralizing that has to be for the Falcon defense. We want to welcome the viewers who saw the Philadelphia Eagles-Washington Redskins battle at RFK Stadium. We're just underway at Candlestick Park. Dick Stockton and Randy Cross, the Niners, clicked on a 30-yard pass play. Young to Odessa Turner on 3rd and 13. They were backed up in their own zone. 1st down now on their own 36. Ricky Waters gets a big break, gets blocking and a couple of tackles, and finds his way into Falcon territory. And a gain of 15 yards, the tackle made by Louis Riddick.
This is the play the 49ers refer to as 16 power. Watch the backside guard pull and lead through the hole. Fullback blocks out, double team right here. Watch the movement this way. That's what opens up this play. Good job of movement by the backside guard McIntyre. Pulls through, makes a nice block on Tuggle in the hole, and Ricky Waters is maturing and learning how to follow his linemen.
1st down for the 49ers on the 47 of Atlanta. Jerry Rice shifts to the left side. And Young swings it out to Ricky Waters. Waters has a 1st down and ridden out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Leading the NFL in total yards from scrimmage coming into this game. Waters picks up 15 yards as a receiver.
This has been an offense that thrives when it has a combination of good receivers and good running backs. Hasn't been since Roger Craig in his salad days back in about 85 when he rushed for 1,000 and got 1,000 receiving, that this offense has had this extra dimension that Ricky Waters adds.
He's a big back, practically a rookie considering that last year he was on injured reserve, and has given the 49ers some big plays from the backfield spot. 1st and 10 on the 32. Waters coming in motion right, and Young finds Waters. They want to isolate him, and he gets knocked out of bounds inside the 25 by Louis Riddick, and a gain of 7.
You know, Ricky Waters, when he was in college at Notre Dame, Lou Holtz had him kind of flopping back and forth. You were a running back, you were a receiver. He told us, you know, I hated that in college. But now, the dimension I can add to this team is I'm a running back that has been a wide receiver. He goes, and I've even impressed the wide receivers the way I know how to run my patterns. It really is an advantage. I hated it then, but I love it now.
2nd down and 3 for the Niners on the Falcon 25. Young calling an audible. Rice split to the right, and Waters again in motion. Young's pass on a slant to Jerry Rice, incomplete. Did not have possession.
And Rice took a wicked lick right in the chops there as he caught that pass. You know, that's the kind of play now you're reading them in papers and hearing people say Jerry Rice is taking too much of a beating. Well, the reason Jerry Rice takes a beating is Jerry Rice doesn't mind doing that. He doesn't mind going in the inside. That's where the safeties are. That's where the linebackers are, and that's where the beating is.
And he doesn't mind blocking when his number isn't called on a pass pattern.
Well, actually gives him a chance to take some of the frustration out on the defensive back.
3rd down and 3 at the 25-yard line. Falcons with a stunt and the pass to Jerry Rice. He gets by Pickens. Rice headed for the goal line, and he is tackled short of the goal line. But he'll have another 1st down for the 49ers. Donaldson and Tuggle prevented Rice from getting in after a gain of 22 yards.
This is the kind of play that Jerry Rice learned to make after watching John Taylor make these plays. It's yards after the catch. They get a blitz on the outside from Jesse Solomon, picked up nicely by Rathman. Now watch, after the catch, those are the yards. You're talking about a big, physical, strong receiver getting downfield, and he wants that end zone bad. Rison does that well for Atlanta, but nobody does it better than Jerry.
Only 2 touchdown catches coming into the game for Jerry Rice. 1st and goal at the 1. And here is Ricky Waters going for the corner, and he's not going to get there, and might have lost a yard. Oliver Barnett up front, and Jeff Donaldson playing free safety prevented the score. And it'll be 2nd and goal.
Yeah, we talked about Jerry Rice, yards after the catch and everything else. Watch him blocking Donaldson right here, 42. Locks him up, gets his hands in, great position. Nice job. I mean, that's an all-pro wide receiver. You see things like that, and his willingness to go after players and block. That's why the guys that play with him and against him consider him the best receiver in the league in a long time.
10th play of the drive coming up. Young's pass, and again, the 49ers can't get in. Jerry Rice on the receiving end, and Jeff Donaldson, who for the 2nd straight game is playing free safety.
Well, this is a tough defense, Dick, to go laterally on. They're not a big defense. They're not a physical defense, but they can get to the sidelines. The Niners' specialty in running and passing is getting quick passes out to the outside and letting their guys do their thing. That is Atlanta's strength. They need to attack inside the tackles against this defense.
See what they do on 3rd and goal. The ball is at the 1. 2 tight ends for the Niners. And the give is to Rathman, who dives in for the score. Tom Rathman did not get to carry the ball one time last week against the New England Patriots. And on his first carry today, he goes in for the touchdown to give the 49ers a 6-0 lead.
Attacking inside at the smaller soft spot in this defense. Rathman's going to score early. Tom Rathman's role in the last couple of years hasn't been very strong. Now they're running him, they're throwing to him, and he's the best blocking back in the league.
Michael Kofer for the extra point. He's got it. Penalty marker down. We're here at Candlestick Park in San Francisco. Those of you who watch the Tampa Bay Bucks and the Chicago Bears, we have a penalty marker on an extra point attempt by Michael Kofer.
64 offense, 10 yards, repeat the extra point.
And they're going to have to try the extra point again. Along with Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton. The San Francisco 49ers have scored on their first possession of the game, going 90 yards, capped by a 1-yard run by Tom Rathman.
I tell you what, that might be the first time I've ever seen a snapper on an extra point get called for holding. I've seen tight ends, I've seen wingbacks, but they called that hold on Ralph Tam, the snapper. He can't hold. He's too busy getting the crud knocked out of him. They're hitting back into the kicker.
He had to work fast. So this will be a 30-yard kick by Kofer. And this one is also good. So it is 7-0 in favor of the 49ers. They were trapped in the shadow of their own goal line, but Steve Young got him out. '49ers lead the Falcons 7-0, going 90 yards in 11 plays. Just under 9 minutes remaining in the first quarter, but the Falcons will get a chance for the first time on attack.
Well, this figures to be a game, Dick, where both offenses, if they can execute, will move the ball very effectively and score some points. I mean, unless one of these defenses decides to bow up and play a good game, we're going to see all kinds of points put on the board today.
Keith Jones, Tony Smith, and Eric Kegram are back deep. Tony Smith is the deep man. Mike Kofer will kick off for the Niners. It is a short kick. And it's going to be Smith at the 9-yard line, returning for Atlanta. And Smith ran right into a defender instead of going outside, and Merton Hanks makes the tackle for San Francisco.
Let's take a look at that last touchdown by the Niners. Not real complicated. Look at this window right here for the 49ers to go in. They're just going to block man up front and watch what area, surprise, surprise, they decide to attack. Right there. It's wide open, good blocking, almost like stealing.
Tom Rathman caught 5 passes last week. He has been a foundation for George Seifert's offense. But here is Chris Miller leading the Falcons, first down on their 29. Throwing on first down, intended for Pritchard, incomplete. Covered by Michael Magruder, a nickelback. Offensively for the Falcons, and the offensive line has performed well this year. with Mike Ken, Houston Hoover, Jamie Dukes at center, Bill Fralick and Chris Hinton on the right side. In the red gun, Keith Jones is the running back. Risen, Hill, Pritchard, and Haynes the wide receivers, and you won't find 4 better receivers on any team in the league.
And lots of speed. And Jerry Glanville brought this red gun from Houston with him, and it's a great attack. If it has a flaw, it's the running game. If Atlanta's going to win this game, they've got to run the ball.
And rookie Tony Smith is now in the backfield out of the shotgun, 2nd down and 10. And the handoff is to Smith, trying to get outside, stumbles forward and gets a couple, but not much. And making the stop was Bill Romanowski. Defensively for the 49ers, and this is their base defense, and it changes. Kevin Fagan, Michael Carter, the nose tackle, and Pierce Holt. The linebackers, Romanowski, who made the stop, with Mike Walter, Keith DeLong. Tim Harris is not 100%, but he's in there. In the secondary, Don Griffin and Eric Davis are the corners. Rookie Dana Hall's a free safety, and Thane Gash, a late starter at strong safety.
Look for the Falcons. I'm sorry, Dick. Look for the Falcons to give the Niners a lot of different looks. They've already given them the 4 wides. They've already given them a tackle over.
3rd down and 7. Dennis Brown is in as a 4th pass rusher for the Niners. Miller had time, but it breaks down. And the Niners did a great job in the secondary as Tim Harris, banged up and all, makes the sack and a loss of 5 yards.
One of those marquee matchups, Tim Harris going against Mike Ken, a guy I think is the best tackle in football. That is a coverage sack. Everything in a Falcons offense, this red gun offense, is timing. It's meant to go 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, throw. 1, 2, 3, sack.
Like a dance step. Scott Bullhaig will kick, and Alan Grant, who was put back on the roster this week as a punt returner. They had some big problems last week against New England. See how Grant handles it, starting from the 30-yard line. Penalty marker down, 2 of them, and Grant trying to turn the corner.
This is going to come back, Dick. There was a push in the back about the 40-yard line.
And the Niners know it. It would have been a 70-yard punt return for Alan Grant. But there were 2 penalty markers down, and they are going to bring it back.
And that goes into the category of a dumb mistake. If you're Atlanta, you got to be real excited about that. But that was really a pure, clean stupid, because the guy was beat, didn't have a chance to block him, pushed him right in the back.
So already we have seen 2 mistakes by the 49ers special teams. Amp Lee bobbling the kickoff, and now the penalty.
Illegal block in the back. Number 43 of the receiving team, 10 yards from the spot of the foul.
It was Mark Logan.
Watch Logan come from the right side of the screen. There's LaBelle. There's Logan. Why do you do that? And that is the only place you see that happen, is special teams. Guys are trying to make things happen, and believe me, the team doesn't need that kind of help.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by Pontiac and your nearby Pontiac dealers. We are driving excitement. U.S. Air. Every time we fly, everywhere we go, everything we do, U.S. Air begins with you. And my Canon CJ10 full-color copier, printer, and scanner. Now the power of color is yours.
49ers have the ball following the penalty. That would have been a punt return for a score, starting from their 25-yard line. Number 1 in the NFL rushing, but Steve Young going in the air again. Trying to ad-lib here, and his pass is dropped by Brent Jones. He doesn't like to drop many, and they seem to bother him. It wasn't right on the money, but it was catchable.
And that was a play for all of you out there that want to say, well, Steve Young shouldn't run so often, or Steve Young shouldn't do a lot of things, and he gives up passes down the field. Watch what he does here. He checks. He's on his 3rd. He's on his 4th. He's on his 5th. He's still looking for a receiver. He isn't running there. It's a good job by Steve Young, just a little overthrown. Brent Jones is a very athletic tight end. But the Falcon defense, they're bringing 4 guys, dropping 7, and now seem to have the Niners a little off guard.
Hey, those defensive players are going to get tired chasing Young like that if he keeps doing that. 2nd down and 10. Young can't find a receiver again. Now he's got Brent Jones. The tight end in a crossing pattern beats his man Jeff Donaldson. And a gain of 20 yards and a first down close to midfield.
You have to be impressed with the calm and composure of Steve Young in the pocket here, keeping your head about you while all those around you are losing theirs. He's just sort of looking around, finally flips it off. This is a good example so far. Remember, the 49ers are the #1 rushing team in the NFL, but at this point, they're passing to set up their run.
Niners on their 45-yard line. They lead 7-0 with 6:15 to go in the first quarter. Young is going to throw again, and his pass to Brent Jones. Close to first down yardage. The linebacker Jesse Tuggle was covering on the play, and a pickup of 11. So that should be another first down for San Francisco.
And Jesse Tuggle told us, I'm not looking forward to covering this guy because, Brent Jones, a tight end, good-sized fella, but Brent can run a 4.6, 4.65, which is really unusual for a tight end. Tuggle really wasn't looking forward to doing this on a day-long basis.
Tuggle would rather be in the middle where he can play off of people and scrape blockers getting in. So this is an assignment he does not relish.
This is a patience test for the Falcons. They're giving up chunks of yardage. How long will they take this before they bring that blitz?
Haven't seen it yet. First down on the Falcon 45. And here's Ricky Waters with some room. And Waters gets close to first down yardage. He'll be shy by about a yard, but let's see where they spot the ball. Jesse Solomon, the veteran linebacker, made the tackle on the big back who has made a big splash this year.
He really has. And this is just a basic lead draw designed to go inside that Ricky Waters sort of says to himself, well, why should I go inside where everybody is when I can go outside when there isn't anybody there?
How well is Ricky Waters rushed? 84 a game, better than all of the clubs below his name.
Remember, Detroit is in that list with Barry Sanders.
Second down and 1, and here is Waters, and he will lose a yard, and good penetration by Torrey Epps up front for the Falcons.
Now there's an example of a young running back trying to use his athletic ability in a blue-collar area. If you're going to make moves and you're going to juke, you better do that outside. This defense inside for the Falcons is not going to stand there and take fakes inside. Ricky Waters, if you're going to run inside hard. Don't try to make any moves on anybody.
Third down and 1. That's what Waters has done so far. And they're going to go to Waters with blockers in front. He's got the first down. Nice to have a big back like Ricky Waters, who picked up 9 yards on that carry. Tim McKyer knocked him out of bounds.
Watch two guys here. Watch Rathman, the fullback. Watch Foster, the right guard, go this way and sort of compete for who gets to get a block on this play. Wide open play. Jesse Solomon's the man they're competing over. Rathman couldn't get him. Foster put him down. You got to expect the Falcons to put more corner pressure, not only for the running game, but to keep Steve Young, that quarterback, contained on scrambles.
Waiting for the blitz, and they're getting into territory where it might be helpful. Here is Waters trying the left side. Finally wrestled down by Jeff Donaldson. But once he gets the ball and gets acceleration, he is a tough back to bring down. He gets 8 yards that time.
Atlanta's defense seems not to be attacking Ricky Waters quite like they should. If you got a guy that's making moves, go ahead and attack him. On that run, Ricky Waters sort of was very patient, held the ball, waited until he saw it crack, and then went through it.
But it's so tough for the Falcons because you really can't stop all of the weapons that the Niners have.
Well, this is, the NFL. Everybody's got a lot of weapons. I think you got to sort of game plan and attack just going after bodies. You don't go after personalities or people. You go after bodies.
Second down and 2. Young's pass caught by Rice. And whistle had blown. He was down. Whistle blew, and a pickup of 12 yards. Tim McKyer with help from Louis Riddick making the tackle on Rice. But another first down. It'll be first and goal.
And Jerry Rice again gets up a little bit slow, and for very good reason. He's not getting hit all the time by defensive backs as he works against McKyer, but every once in a while a linebacker gets in there on him.
Told you yesterday about the fact that under Bill Walsh and Joe Montana got the ball a lot more. Look at the difference between his average after 6 games last year and this year. First and goal on the 8-yard line. Niners threatening to go up again by 2 touchdowns. Waters will score. Ricky Waters, untouched, got a great block up front.
This is an example of a play that was meant to go one way. A lead draw to the right. Suddenly a huge gap opens backside, and Waters just takes it. We talked about this being an offensive show. So far, the only offense that's shown is the 49ers.
And now Mike Kofer trying to make it 14-0, and he does. Ricky Waters, who has already gained 49 yards and has scored his 2nd touchdown rushing in as many weeks.
On that last touchdown, watch Jesse Sapolo working against Epps right here. The old term, taking him where he wants to go. Where does he want to go, Jesse? He wants to go that way? That's where you take him. Rathman gets the lead block, easy 6.
14-0 in favor of the 49ers. Ricky Waters with a touchdown. And now Mike Kofer will kick off. Tony Smith deep for the Falcons. It's a short kick, and Smith with a running start at the 7-yard line. Doesn't do him much good. Fine coverage by the Niners special teams. Mark Logan making the tackle. Well, so far the total yards 171 for the Niners, -2 for Atlanta. View from above Candlestick Park, thanks to Anheuser-Busch's Aerial Ambassador, the Bud 1 airship today. First and 10 on the 23-yard line. Keith Jones back in at running back. The red gun. Chris Miller's offense trailing by 14 points. And an incomplete attempt to Drew Hill will bring up 2nd down.
You know, this is a game really of confidence and poise. Right now, Atlanta's confidence and poise are a little off. San Francisco has a big edge in plays and time of possession and yards and everything. It's time for the Atlanta offense to come to the party, because this offense the Niners have this year reminds me of the one I played on in '84 and Dan Fouts had down in San Diego with the Chargers. If they get on you quick and you let them think they have confidence and they have an edge, they can really bury you. You got to put your head up now.
So extra pressure for Chris Miller. 2nd down and 10. 3 of the wide receivers flanked to the left. And Miller's pass to Pritchard is caught and hit immediately at the 31-yard line by Bill Romanowski, and that's what the Niners want to do defensively. They don't want the run after the catch, and Romanowski made the play after a gain of 8.
The one thing that's been missing a little bit from the 49er attack has been the pass rush. Watch the great job the Falcon line does protecting Miller. Miller gets a little confidence pass in there. He's thrown a couple into the dirt. This one he managed to zip right in there to Pritchard.
3rd down and 1 coming up for the Falcons, who have lost 4 of their first 6 games. A year ago, they were winning the close ones. This year, they're losing them. 3rd and 1. And the handoff to Keith Jones. Stopped immediately by Kevin Fagan, who George Seifert says is good a run defender as we have in our base defense.
Well, if we talked about the Falcons being a little undersized, and if you run against them, you should go inside, not outside, there's nothing undersized about Ted Washington and Michael Carter in the middle of that defense. Look at the job those red jerseys do of staying above those white jerseys and just stuffing that middle up.
They go to measure, and I have to think that if they're short by inches, they might go for it on 4th down. They are short by about a foot.
Well, I think there's a big difference between gambling and playing percentages and just sort of taking a flyer. This, I think, would be a flyer in the first quarter. If you're already down 14, you're begging to be down 21, taking a chance here, I think, Dick.
Well, Jerry Glanville goes along with your thinking. And Scott Fulhaig is in to kick it away. Alan Grant goes back deep for the Niners. They will only rue that decision if the 49ers go downfield and get another touchdown, right? Fulhaig gets off a fine kick, and here is Grant at the 30. And he is stopped after a short return by Jesse Tuggle. 6-yard return by Grant. Last week, Ron Lewis had 2 fumbles on punt returns that eventually led to 9 points by the New England Patriots. So a change in the punt return receiver for the Niners this week.
This is a big series for the Atlanta defense. It's time for them, just like we talked about the offense, it's time for the defense to stuff the 49er offense right here and get their offense, who's a little bit wobbly now, a chance to get back on the field and get their timing going.
Niners will start from their 36. And a fake. And Young has his pass intercepted. Bruce Pickens returning for the Falcons. And the first turnover of the ball game, and the Falcons get the ball back in 49er territory at the 45-yard line. A 15-yard return on the pass intended for Mike Sherrard.
The marquee play for the 49ers is of 18 Bob. You pull this guard, you pull this guard, you fake it with the back here. Watch Steve Young come out, go this way, trying to get Sherrard over the middle of the field, hoping the safety bites. What happens? Everything happens just like the Niners wanted it to, except Steve Young does not throw a very good ball, throws it way behind Sherrard. Nice job of anticipation there.
That is only the 3rd interception by the Falcons this year. First down on the 44 of the Niners, Tony Smith, the rookie from Southern Mississippi. In for blocking, and Miller wants to go deep, and he's got a man, and it's Haynes, and Haynes is in for the touchdown. Michael Haynes, who burned the 49ers on a Hail Mary reception from Billy Joe Tolliver last year, catches this for 44 yards, beating Eric Davis and Dana Hall, and the Falcons come back strong.
Atlanta came into this game saying, we think they're going to try to take Rison and Pritchard out of the game. Top of the screen. Watch Haynes. Pump fake from Miller. Davis bites. That's the guy they want to go after. Whoa, that made that look easy, and that's what Haynes does well. He is the fastest man in shoulder pads.
Norm Johnson, who has made good on 48 consecutive conversions. Looking to bring the Falcons to within 7. And the kick is perfect. 14-7 now. So Michael Haynes, injured shoulder at all. In fact, he may even have a slight shoulder separation. Beat the defense, and it's now a 1-touchdown lead.
Well, just what the doctor ordered. We talked about the defense has to make something happen. They did their part. They got an interception. The offense takes it right in. Watch Haynes go up, kind of hesitate, and then go. And watch Chris Miller with his fake. His whole body and shoulders move on the fake right here. Watch. There, pump. Davis bit, stops a little. And when you're chasing a guy that probably runs in the 4-2 area in the 40, this guy's about as fast as Deion Sanders. You can't think about making a mistake, much less making one.
Well, lately the Falcons have executed the big plays against the 49ers, including Deion Sanders' 100-yard kickoff return last year. Sanders, of course, is in Atlanta, getting set to what he hopes see some action for the Braves in Game 2 of the World Series tonight on CBS.
You know, if you're an offensive coordinator in a game like this, you have to take into consideration the fact that these teams flat out don't like each other. It's not a rivalry. It's not an old traditional thing. These two teams just don't like each other. And when you don't like somebody, you maybe tend to be a little too aggressive. It's a good job by June Jones, the coordinator of the Falcons, of taking advantage of a little aggression.
Norm Johnson on the kickoff. Amp Lee in the end zone. The sun blinded him, and the kick went out of the end zone for a touchback. And with that touchdown pass by Chris Miller, that gave him 14 on the year, and he came into the game leading the NFL.
It's amazing when you look at two body types. Chris Miller and Steve Young are the exact same size. 6'2", 205. One is the prototype, get me in the pocket, let me throw. I'll absolutely run if I have to in Miller. And the other guy is this guy here in Steve Young. who I think is, you would say a complete package as a football player, but maybe that's a little limiting. He can do a lot of things nobody else in the NFL can do. Makes him extremely special.
Look at his passing numbers so far, but Chris Miller thinks he can match him. First down at the 20 for the Niners. 13 seconds remain in the first quarter. Young, he wants to go deep, and he's got Jerry Rice. And it'll be a touchdown. Jerry Rice, 80 yards, matching his number. Jerry Rice, in the days of Joe Montana, the long reception and score.
A pump fake of his own from Young. Says, Miller, you can pump fake? I pump fake pretty good. Jerry Rice, Tim McKyer, who's going to win? You got to be kidding. 100 touchdowns in a career for Jerry Rice.
He ties Franco Harris for number 7 on the all-time touchdown list. And Mike Cofer makes it 21-7 in favor of the Niners. And that is the longest pass play in the National Football League, or at least in the NFC this year.
We saw Eric Davis bite on that last play because of the pump fake. Watch Jerry Rice go. Watch here, and watch McKyer. McKyer is a good one-on-one man. He's giving him plenty of cushion. Watch him sit. Whoop. He made the same kind of mistake that Eric Davis made. Jerry Rice doesn't have the speed of a Michael Haynes, but I'll tell you what, he's faster than whoever's chasing him.
Until that play, the longest 49er pass play was 57 yards on the season. So once again, the Niners have opened up a 2-touchdown lead over the Falcons. Still 3 seconds remain in the first quarter.
And McKyer's got some big games and big plays against the Niners last year. Jerry Rice gets a little revenge against them. You remember back in 1990, Charles Dimmery was playing cornerback for the Falcons, and Rice had 5 touchdowns against a man also wearing number 22.
He had 13 catches that day. Beaufort kicking off. And it'll be Tony Smith returning for Atlanta. And Tony Smith with a good return gets hit hard out of bounds, just shy of the 45-yard line. As the clock runs down, and it was Amp Lee who made the hit on Tony Smith. And that is the end of the first quarter here at Candlestick Park with the score, the 49ers 21 and the Falcons 7. Who's going to volunteer to play defensive secondary for either team in this game?
If you want something to eat or you have to leave the room, do it during a commercial. Don't do it when either one of these teams has a football.
Falcons have a first down on their 43-yard line as we start the second quarter. Chris Miller running away from Tim Harris, and his pass is caught and into 49er territory. In a gain of 8 yards, Andre Rison with his first reception of the game, and quick ad-libbing there by Chris Miller.
That was a nice job by Miller because his pass protection started to break down, getting good coverage down the field by the 49ers. Watch some of these pops coming in here. Watch the contact. Big Hoover working good. There's a good one. Here comes Harris. Nice job by Chris Miller. Not the niftiest of guys, but a good athlete.
And they got 8 yards out of it. Second down and 2. Here's Tony Smith, has nowhere to go, and a loss on the play, and a penalty marker thrown after the play as Tim Harris got Tony Smith and a loss of 4.
That's going to be a late hit on Thane Gashier. He was already down on the ground.
And Harris is really upset because he made a fine defensive play, and that's going to hurt the 49ers.
Personal foul, number 31 for a late hit after the player was down. 15 yards from the spot of the foul, first down.
Well, we talked about that aggressiveness. especially on these two defenses. Here's an example. Nice job by the D-line of the 49ers staying home. Didn't buy the draw. Tim Harris makes the tackle. He's down. It looks worse in slow motion, but it was still pretty dumb.
Thane Gash, who replaced David Whitmore at strong safety. Former Cleveland Brown Plan B. And a good pickup by the Niners, but a bit overzealous on that play. Falcons with a first down on the Niner 39, and the crowd disagrees wholeheartedly. Miller's pass is caught by Rison and ridden out of bounds by Don Griffin. And a gain of 7 yards.
You know, if you like aerial football, Andre Rison is a receiver you have got to like. He's a guy that if you got a stopwatch on this group of receivers from the Atlanta Falcons, I'm not quite sure if he wouldn't place around third or fourth or whatnot. He has great football speed. He has nice hands, and he has that ability, much like Jerry Rison, that he wants to be in the end zone. He wants the big play.
Well, they don't know who the fastest man is, but when you put on all the gear and give him a football, he may be the fastest that way. Second down and 3 on the 32 out of the shotgun, and a penalty marker down. And there was movement up front by the Falcons. Chris Hinton might have moved.
Chris Hinton's got Harris to worry about over there on his side.
Full start prior to snap. Number 75 offense. 5 yards. Still second down.
Jerry Glanville, who celebrated his 51st birthday on Wednesday, looking for a bigger birthday present this afternoon. Team trailing 21-7. So Chris Hinton with the penalty, and that will bring up second down and 8.
We talked about the D-line and the 49ers not getting a lot of pressure, but that does not apply to this guy right here. He has been their plus. They got rid of Charles Haley, and he's much the same sort of player. You list him as a linebacker, but I think you list guys like that as linebackers because there's no more room on the list of the defensive linemen because those aren't linebackers.
Playing with a knee brace, also has the injured thumb and ankle. The entire right side hurting for Tim Harris today. Miller's got targets, and it's intercepted. Eric Davis. Eric Davis with the interception after Michael Magruder had tipped the pass, and a return of 37 yards, and the 49ers are back in business in Falcon territory.
And if Chris Miller could get that one back, he'd definitely take it. Wasn't a lot of pressure, but he threw it in, right, going after Haynes, and Magruder was there the whole time. He never should have let that ball go. And Davis, a little frustrated himself after Haynes took advantage of him as a chance for a big play.
Miller came in with the lowest interception rate in the league, but he throws it away, and a first down on the 40 of Atlanta. And a penalty, and it could be an offensive illegal procedure call against the Niners. Larry Nemers, our referee.
False start prior to the snap. Right side of the line. 5 yards. Still first down.
The whole right side. Not just one guy. The whole right side decided to move at once. At least they were coordinated, though.
It's either the right side, the left side, or the center.
The center can never be offside. I don't understand that. I see that called all the time. The rest of the guys were just slow, or he was a little early, but they can't be offside.
Ever been called for it?
Numerous times. You get that little twitch and the ball moves, and that's illegal procedure.
First and 15. Big first down edge by the 49ers. They are on the 45 of Atlanta. Young flips it out to Waters, bobbled it, and lost it, and now they rule an incompleted pass. He never had possession of the ball.
Well, the crowd doesn't like it, but that's a nice call. Remember, you have to have possession, and then you have to get a couple feet down on the ground, right? Doesn't have it. Doesn't have it. He's got close. Nope. Does it? Nope. Nah, never really had a handle on it.
Well, you know, Andre Rison has to have Deion Sanders in his mind. He certainly has him on his head. Prime time, number 24, and he had to pencil that in for his friend who's playing in Game 2 of the World Series tonight.
He's got his Brave number on the right, and he's got his Falcon number on the left, 21-24.
And he even drew a baseball. That's not an easy thing to draw when you're in football all the time.
Not in the heat of battle, you know. Those round things are tough.
Although I think Risen wanted to be a basketball player at Michigan State.
This game summary is sponsored by Keystone Light.
That 80-yard reception is the longest for Jerry Rice in 4 years. But check out 250 yards total offense, and we still have 12:34 remaining in the half, Randy.
It's been an offense right now, except for the one play that has done absolutely everything it wanted to do right. And it had the one play it messed up. Steve Young just didn't throw a good pass.
2nd down and 15 from the 45. Young with the short drop and the slant pass complete to Jerry Rice. And a flag, and we may have a late hit on Rice.
I think it might be a face mask there, Dick. He spun around awful fast and in a strange body position.
Pickens and Donaldson were defending, and it appears to be a face mask. The gain was 14 yards, but they'll tack some more on.
5-yard face mask on the tackle. 5 yards from the end of the run. It'll be a first down.
And remember, that 5-yard face mask is one that's sort of incidental. It's an oops, I didn't mean that. Why does Jerry Rice get hit a lot? Because he goes inside a lot. Pickens does get the face mask, but Jerry Rice, I think, is the toughest wide receiver in football. A lot of people want to talk about his speed and his hands and his ability. This guy does not mind going inside, and that is a real unusual trait in football. Risen's like that, too.
And a first down on the 25 of Atlanta. 21-7 in favor of the 49ers. Pressure from behind, and they're going to rule an incompleted pass as his arm was going around. Ken Tippins was putting the pressure on.
Oh, that was awful close, Dick. He was just starting to bring that down as he didn't want to throw it, and it slipped out of his hands. It was a good job by the 49ers of pass protecting, but a better job down the field of pass coverage. Watch, he really has no pressure. Now here comes Tippins. Whoa. That was a lucky one for the 49ers, because if he would have brought that down and then tried to hold it, Tippins would have nailed it.
Steve Young with the best completion percentage in the league at the line with 2nd down and 10. Penalty flag is down, and Young's pass is caught inside the 15-yard line by Jerry Rice again, and the flag may be against the Niners.
Yeah, it should be some sort of procedure. You know, when you're having a great day and things are going really, really good, you get anxious. Jerry Rice is starting to have a good day. He might have been a little anxious.
Motion, number 80, moving before the snap.
He got anxious.
5 yards, repeat 2nd down.
Now watch. Receivers usually don't hear the snap count. They're supposed to go with the ball. You know, this is such a fine-tuned athlete. Rice almost has the ability to move at the exact same time as the ball. That time, he was a little early.
And the Atlanta Falcons bring in pass rushing defensive linemen, including Chuck Smith. They rush 4, and Young directing his receivers, and now he takes off for the first time today, and Young gets inside the 5, and he applauds the downfield blocking as Louis Riddick defended on the play, and a gain of 21 for Steve Young.
Now watch Steve Young. He goes back. He's going to go through his reads. 1, 2, 3. Fake. Nope, there's nothing here. I'm going to run. He does this better than I think anybody else because he's willing to take a hit. Cunningham can run, but Young has the toughness, I think. Now watch Brent Jones run Riddick off. Is he open? Heck yeah, he's open right now. So watch him follow through with the job.
1st and goal on the 4. And Tom Raskin gets hit at about the 3-yard line. Jesse Tuggle was the first to meet him. Steve Young, who has averaged over 9 yards a carry, and this is his team. Last year, a little shaky with all of the controversy surrounding whether Joe Montana would play. More secure this season.
We talked to a different Steve Young Friday than we talked to last year. Steve Young was uptight. I barely recognized him. He was my roommate for 2 years with the 49ers. The guy I talked to Friday is so confident. And look, it reflects in the things he does away from the ball. What's a quarterback do away from the ball? He runs the ball.
Told us some good stories of when you were roommates, too, especially when you scored a lot. Here's Waters. He's going to score here. Ricky Waters with the touchdown. His second of the game.
Right now, this Atlanta Falcons defense looks stunned. The momentum is all on the side of the 49ers, and the Falcons defense is taking a lot of the attack out of attack defense. Ricky Waters on a play designed to go inside, bounces it. Tippins, the linebacker, does not contain, and it's an easy 6.
Second touchdown for Ricky Waters, and Michael Coper makes it 28-7. Keep in mind that Deion Sanders isn't here. Brian Jordan left to play baseball, and Scott Case is out with an injury. Toronto Blue Jays will try to even the World Series tonight against the Atlanta Braves at 8 o'clock Eastern time, and they'll call on David Cone, a money pitcher. John Smoltz will be on the mound for the Braves. Coming up tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern on CBS.
For what they pay pitchers nowadays in Major League Baseball, Dick, what qualifies as not being a money pitcher?
He's going to get more money. I'll tell you, he's a free agent, and he's going to get a big paycheck next year. Ricky Waters deserves one, too, doesn't he?
After that one.
Mike Coper kicking off, 28-7, and the kick sails out of the end zone, a touchback, and the Falcons will start from the 20.
Hey, you know, we've talked about Jerry Rice as a receiver. How about as a blocker? Watch this matchup up here. This, whether you're a lineman, whether you're a back or a receiver, is a great block. Just dominates Tim McKyer. One more time, Rice on McKyer. Hitting through, maintaining your balance, maintaining your feet, putting your man on the ground.
Worst starting field position, and Jerry Rice.
And look at that smile. That hasn't been seen a lot in the Bay Area lately. Rice has been very frustrated, but not today.
He ought to clip off that tag from that cap. They must have a clipper somewhere. First down. Haynes on the receiving end of a Chris Miller pass. And picks up about 8 yards. Eric Davis was covering on the play. Haynes, who caught the touchdown pass, resulting in the only score for the Falcons, a 44-yard reception in the first quarter.
You know, if there's kind of a strange advantage to being in this kind of an offense they call the red gun in Atlanta, it's that when you get down like this and you have to pass, well, you're just sort of in your normal offense anyway, so you're not doing unusual things. You stay in your offense, you stay within yourself. You can't make up 21 points in one drive. It's all a matter of patience and waiting for your shot, and when you get the shot, you got to make it happen.
Yeah, they're not abandoning the running game. Not with this offense. 2nd and 2 now. They rush 4, and Tony Smith going outside, and he is going to be stopped short of the stick. Great pursuit by Merton Hanks from the secondary, and Michael Magruder, the extra back as well, and a gain of only a yard.
And the Falcon defense, probably the people most interested in what the offense is doing right now is this group right here on the bench, because they don't want their offense to go 3 and out. That puts them back on the field. The biggest fans here in the stadium and back in Atlanta for the Falcons offense is that defense.
They bring the power back. Keith Jones in the lineup on 3rd and 1. Miller on a big pass, and it's caught. It'll be a first down. Mike Pritchard, defended by Merton Hanks, and a gain of 3. We've talked about the inexperience of the Falcons secondary, but the 49ers playing the same way. Eric Davis really in his 2nd year. Dana Hall, the rookie, and Hanks also in his 2nd season out of the University of Iowa. Winding down to 8 minutes remaining in the first half. First down for the Falcons on their 32. Miller's pass was short. Risen, the intended receiver, and Miller knew it. Griffin was defending on Risen's side.
Chris Miller's had a few of those today. He's just been a little bit off. He hit the nice big one to Haynes, but the medium range 15 to 20 yard pass at this point, he's having a hard time with. He's put 3 in the ground right now.
With all of his friends and family from the University of Oregon where he played coming down to the Bay Area, this is the last thing he wanted, was to find himself trailing by as much as 21 points in the first half. But here he is, and he's got second down and 10 coming up. Give is to Tony Smith, and Smith was finally tripped up.
He was one tackle away from making a big play. Broke a couple, spun a couple times, didn't quite get the last one. Watch this. This is making something out of nothing. Nothing in there, I'll spin. Nothing out here, I'll spin again. Oh no, just did get his leg caught.
He gained 3 yards on the play. No surprise with the 49ers leading the NFL in rushing, having a huge edge over the Atlanta Falcons, who have not been able to run the ball this year. Third down and 7. And a stunt is on for the Niners. Miller's pass downfield in a crowd, and it's picked off. Don Griffin intercepts the pass as Miller threw in coverage intended for Andre Rison, and they're still wrestling for the ball.
Watch out now. Here's the part. Here's when you find two teams that don't like each other. They're going to go at it.
Pritchard was knocked down. Dana Hall was right in the middle. It'll take a while to sort this thing out.
We've already had a little laundry flying. There's an awful lot of jerseys out there. Remember, there's some significant fines that are handed out by the league if you're a player not in the game and come off the bench at this situation. But regardless who won the fight, the Niners, I think, have the ball on that interception by Don Griffin.
And it is Griffin's first interception of the season.
Inside receiver coming up into the slot of the defense is Rison. The ball, if thrown over him and letting him run to, would have been fine, but it was badly underthrown and thrown left. He just became a defender there and tried to make something happen.
We have an interception on the play and offsetting penalties. One against San Francisco for a personal foul. One against Atlanta for a personal foul. It'll be first down, San Francisco.
It's a wash.
Dreaded offsetting penalties. They ought to pick both those rags up off the ground and just say, no yardage, no big deal. They both did a boo-boo and we're gone.
Never happened. We didn't see anything out there. Timeout on the field. There in that crowd is Joe Montana. Had somewhat of a setback with numbness in the last 2 fingers, delaying any kind of a comeback he might stage this season. He is right behind George Seifert, enjoying this game as the Niners lead at 28-7.
And he's had more than his fair share of big games against these Atlanta Falcons. But the team now is in this man's hands. He's very confident, and he knows this is his offense.
First down on the 24 following the audible, and the handoff is to Ricky Waters, and Waters carries it out to the 31-yard line. Jesse Solomon making the tackle, and a gain of 7 yards.
That was another example, Dig, of that lag draw, that little delay draw with a lead through with the fullback. The Niners have run it about half a dozen times so far, and Atlanta has not stopped it yet.
Waters has gained 60 yards thus far and has scored 2 touchdowns. Coming up, second down and 3 on the 31-yard line. Waters again. He has a hole off the right side and a first down. Solomon again on the tackle, this time a gain of 7 yards. This may be hard to believe, but no ex-Notre Dame running back has ever led the National Football League in rushing. Something for Waters to shoot at.
Watch Ricky Waters start here and run back this way because the entire side of the defense is going to be caved in. Watch, this is a cutback designed to go left, and you're cutting back right. Jesse Solomon saves the big play.
And what George Seifert wanted to see is, can Waters string together successful games back-to-back? Young has audibilized a great deal in this first half. He fakes and hits Rice. And another first down for the 49ers. Talk about the toughness of Jerry Rice. The Falcons claim that they picked up the loose ball, but it won't be. Tuggle and Donaldson on the stop, and a gain of 12. Tough in traffic to make that catch.
This is a little in-your-face defense. You want to go inside, you want to catch a ball, there's a price. There's a little toll to be paid. Donaldson, he's hit a lot when he was at Houston. He's still hitting it at Atlanta. Watch Jerry Rice. He just kind of goes into a hole right here between the linebackers. Steve Young has the patience, waits till he clears, gives him the ball.
Jerry Rice, who has 6 catches and 143 yards and a touchdown already. First down on the 49-yard line, and Young gets time, and Rathman out of the backfield, wide open. And he is close to yet another 49ers first down. Michael Reed and Jesse Tuggle on the stop. Rathman caught 5 passes last week against the Patriots and scored the first touchdown of the game on the ground today. And it's good for 11 yards and another first down.
We're seeing so many of these audibles called by Steve Young, not that last play, but quite a few of the others. He's guessing right with the defense of Atlanta. When Atlanta's going to take chances and make blitzes, he's guessing right and calling the audibles correctly.
First down on the Falcon 40. Young wants to go deep for Waters. He's got it. Out of bounds at the 5. Louis Riddick. And a gain of 35 yards to Ricky Waters, and the Niners are moving the ball and scoring at will here in the first half.
You talk about timing and coordination. Watch the pump fake with Rice. Waters at the bottom of the screen as the receiver. Besides Neil Anderson, can you think of another running back that can do this? Watch the bite. Riddick bites on the fake. Waters keeps going. That is impressive. That puts Waters in some elite company when you start talking about Neil Anderson and Ricky Waters.
And Riddick originally was a 9th-round draft pick by the 49ers last year. First and goal at the 5. And the pass to Rice is incomplete. And pressure on Steve Young. Darian Connor came storming in. We have not had a big pass rush by either side thus far today.
Well, we talked about the coordination. We talked about that smooth offense. Now watch Ricky Waters. Doesn't quite know where to go. Steve Young almost runs into him. Ricky gets out of the way. Well, we can be young players every once in a while. We're going to make mistakes, and it was a good job by the Atlanta Falcons defense of putting some quick, immediate pressure on Young.
And we have not seen any blitzing by the Falcons yet in this game. They're trailing 28-7. Here is Ricky Waters going outside. Trapped. And gets something out of nothing and gets the ball to about the 1. He got well inside the 1-yard line. He's going to be about the half-yard line there, Dick, and a lot of that is just Ricky Waters. People talk about him being an outside runner, but right there he shows, well, there's nothing outside. Watch him duck his head, get his whole body about 2 feet off the ground, and do a little gopher routine. He's going for the ground, and he's driving for the goal line, keeping those legs pumping. He hasn't stopped yet. Now he's down. And they haven't stopped him yet. 70 yards rushing and 2 scores. 3rd and goal from the 1. And it's going to be Waters' touchdown. His 3rd of the game.
To be impressed with this young running back. He goes right. It's a sweep, but he sees the soft spot in the gap inside Why rush 15 yards around a corner for 6 points when you can dive 6 with the same amount of points?
A long day for Jerry Glanville, and it's still the first half. It is now 35-7, and for Ricky Waters, the pride of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, and broke many of the records set by, of all people, Dennis Green, the coach of the Minnesota Vikings, also from Harrisburg, PA. 3 scores for Waters today. The Bud 1 airship, with the help of camera operator Keith Dalton, is bringing you these pictures from 1,000 feet above Candlestick Park. And it's been a celebration for the 49ers, who have capitalized on 2 interceptions by Davis and Griffin and have scored touchdowns off of them. Ricky Waters with 71 yards and 3 scores thus far in a rousing 35-7 lead. Mike Cofer's leg got to get tired soon with all the kicking off he's had to do. Back deep is Tony Smith. Trying to kick it away from Smith. And it's Keith Jones returning this time for the Falcons. And he won't see the 20-yard line.
You know, Jerry Glanville knows when things start piling on you, your players sometimes react in a not too smart way. Watch Smith telling Jones, stay in there, stay in there, stay. Nope, I can't help you now. You're on your own. Here, it's you on 11 guys. Go get it.
He even helped the 49ers by blocking him toward the goal line, put his hands in his face. First down on the 15 for Atlanta. They got too many men on the field right now.
Steve Broussard's in the game, rushed for 104 yards last year here against the 49ers.
Miller's pass is caught by Pritchard and quickly wrestled out of bounds by Michael Magruder. A pickup of 5 yards, but I think the running game is going to be kind of a sideshow the rest of the way for the Falcons.
And if they are indeed going to throw a lot, the receiver you have to watch for the Atlanta Falcons is Michael Haynes. The Niners are going to pay attention to the Risens, going to pay attention to the Pritchards. I think they want to man up on Haynes. If they do that, Atlanta can get big plays.
And 2 minutes remain. 2-minute warning here in the first half at Candlestick Park. And we'll return to San Francisco. Coming up at halftime, scores and highlights on a big day of NFL football with Greg and Terry from our New York studios. 49ers thought this might be a game similar to the Buffalo game that they lost 34-31. They've already scored more points today than they have in any game this year. Second down and 3 on the 22. They spread the defense, and the pass intended for Pritchard. He was double covered and hit hard as the ball came his way by Romanowski and Hanks. Magruder also in on the fray.
And a game like this sort of turns into what I refer to as kind of a pound of flesh game, because everybody's going after everybody else as hard as they can and as much as they can. The Niner players are trying to impress their coaches and impress their fans, and the Falcon players, when you're down this big, are just trying to do something to help turn a tide, to make people notice, to try to get some emotion, and really to just get a little revenge.
Let's say it up front, revenge. Third down and 3. Steve Broussard is the blocking back, and they're chasing Miller, and Miller is going to be knocked out of bounds. It was Merton Hanks with the play, and it is close to first down yardage, but it appears, well, we'll wait to see, maybe a foot short.
It looked like Chris Miller, right at the end of that run, sort of started thinking about the fact that if I dive for it, or if I go for it a little bit low here on this, I might get it.
He got it. He got the spot, and it's a first down for the Falcons.
And watch Chris Miller. He's back to pass. Now he's thinking run. There's one thing on his mind, the defender. And he knows where the defender is. He knows where the marker is, and he goes right at it.
And that last lunge with the football did the trick. 1:49 remaining in the first half, and a first down at the 25. Out of the shotgun is Chris Miller. Miller's pass to Risen, and Don Griffin makes sure he doesn't get anything down the sideline. And it stops the clock with 1:43 showing.
And if the 49ers have their druthers, they told us they'd rather have Don Griffin on Andre Rison. Griffin's the veteran, has been here a while. He and Tim McKyer were kind of bookend young cornerbacks for the 49ers back in '87, '88, and that time. And Griffin and McKyer were a great pair. Griffin, the quiet guy, McKyer, the non-quiet guy.
Although he had his lip zipped up during practice yesterday. Second down and 1. Miller's pass is complete to Andre Rison, and he is downed at midfield. Griffin covering on the play, and Miller wants a timeout, and he gets it. A gain of 16 yards. Along with Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton here at Candlestick Park, and a beautiful view of the Bay Area. The 49ers are leading 35-7, and for the Falcons, this has to bring back memories of the disaster against the Washington Redskins last year, their worst defeat of the year when they lost 56-17, but we have a ways to go. First down at midfield. Harris is trying to get to Miller, and Miller's pass, and out of bounds. Pritchard was, or Hill that was, incomplete. Merton Hanks defending on the play. They haven't gone much to Drew Hill today, the 13-year veteran. And a variety of receivers for Chris Miller.
Remember, feet in bounds. He barely got 2 feet inside the big white stripe, much less on the football field. The veteran Hill said this is his last year in the NFL. He's going to go out with the Atlanta Falcons and Jerry Glanville. But if you look at a wide receiver that has to be featured in this situation, it's got to be Haynes.
Second down and 10 with 1:28 remaining in the half. Miller's pass, Rison has it and steps out of bounds. He'll get the first down. So the 49ers are content to give the Falcons everything underneath. They don't want them to break after the catch for the big run. An 11-yard pickup that time.
And I think Atlanta's more than happy at this point to take these chunks. Take some successes. You know, a victory is a victory. It might be a minor victory, but if you're getting some little wins offensively, you take it. That helps build momentum. The little stuff can lull a defense to sleep and give you a chance to get behind them.
1:23 on the clock. Falcons still have 2 timeouts remaining and a first down on the 39 of the Niners. Out of the red gun. Miller's pass. And it's caught. And out of bounds is Haynes. 6-yard pickup with 1:18 showing. If you're wondering about the most points the 49ers have ever scored in the first half in their history, it was 41 against the Minnesota Vikings back in the first game of the season, 1983.
Uh-oh, injury on the field. The glasses have gone down.
Little tape will help Al Conway's glasses. I think he's all right.
A little tape, you spit on it. They're just glasses.
That's all. Second down and 4. And the pass is tipped. Rison was the intended receiver, and he was covered well by Don Griffin. And that incomplete pass with Dennis Brown putting a big pass rush on. Niners haven't had much of a rush from their linemen this season.
And Chris Miller gets banged. Watch his right hand. Whack right into the top of Dennis Brown's helmet as he came in rushing. There's big Dennis Brown. Keith Rowan, the offensive line coach of the Atlanta Falcons, says that is the biggest, quickest 300-pound man in football. He thinks he's about 260, but he's 300 pounds, and he can make you miss.
You don't see that package very often. 3rd and 4. Miller looking for the sticks, and the pass is thrown behind Rison. Griffin has been shadowing him, and that'll bring up 4th down. 4th and 3, and the ball is on the 33-yard line.
Well, if you bring Norm Johnson for a field goal in here, you're talking about 50 yards in these swirling winds. Norm Johnson has a very strong leg. This is well within Johnson's range. It's all a matter here in Candlestick of how the wind decides to gust as you kick it.
He's kicked a 54-yarder this season, which ties an Atlanta record. This will be a 51-yard attempt with Scott Fulhaig holding.
That 54-yarder, though, is in that oversized living room down in Atlanta. It wasn't outdoors.
Doesn't seem to be much of a wind. Johnson's kick is long enough, and the kick is good. So Norm Johnson with the field goal with 1 minute and 4 seconds remaining in the first half. And the 49ers lead is now 35-10. Well, they got something out of it.
Exactly, and what it does also is it brings you within that reasonable doubt range. If you go down to the locker room at 35-7 at the end of the first half, you know you have to tie the all-time greatest comeback in the history of the league to make a comeback and win this game. Now you're down 25 points. I know it sounds kind of dumb, but you're talking about 3 scores, 3 quick scores, and you're in within 4 points.
And you never know what turnovers come into play. So this is only half of the ball game, and the Niners have a solid lead. And by the way, for Norm Johnson, that was the 3rd time this year that he has kicked a field goal from beyond 50 yards. And as you mentioned, he has the friendly confines of the Georgia Dome, and will in the month of November, when the Falcons in those 5 weeks in November are playing at home 4 times.
And right now it's called mind over matter, Dick, for the Atlanta Falcons as they go in at halftime. If they don't mind, it don't matter. And it is the score right now. If they don't mind it, they've got a shot.
Logan and Lee are back deep for the Niners, and Johnson will kick off. And it's returnable. Amp Lee on the run on the 9-yard line. And a fine return by Amp Lee out of Florida State, a 27-yard kickoff return. Bruce Pickens making the tackle. Lee making amends for muffing the opening kickoff of the game that put the Niners in a hole. They were trapped on their own 10-yard line, but a 30-yard pass play on 3rd down by Steve Young loomed large in this game.
Now we see the mindset of the 49ers. 58 seconds, 2 timeouts left. Are they going to keep attacking? Will they try to get more points because they've got the timeouts and they have the time?
Start from the 35. Young's pass up the middle to Brent Jones. And a big chunk of real estate into Atlanta territory. A gain of 25 yards with Terry Ray, the Oklahoma rookie, making the stop on Brent Jones.
This puts them 15 yards from Mike Hofer's field goal range.
Young's pass incomplete, and it appeared that Jerry Rice had the ball and on the turnaround lost it.
Well, it's one of those swingers. Jerry Rice was going one way, the ball was thrown the other way, and his body momentum just kind of threw the ball out of his hands. Very important right here for the Atlanta defense to stop San Francisco. They do this in drills all day long, and watch that. See the way it was thrown low and away? The 49ers do this in training camp. They do it in preseason. They do it during the season. They practice this every single day. They work on the 2-minute drill, the end of the game, the end of the half. Atlanta has to stop San Francisco now.
2nd down and 10 on the Falcon 40. Young's pass. Jerry Rice has it. Still going. And he's going to score. What a run by Rice after the catch. Falcons missed tackles on Jerry Rice, including Bruce Pickens, the last man. A 40-yard play. And that is touchdown number 101. Ties him with Steve Largent for 6th on the all-time total touchdown list. 41-10, and Mike Hofer's kick is good. Most points in the first half in 49er history established today against the Falcons. 42 points against Atlanta.
Watch this great individual effort by Jerry Rice. I said earlier about Atlanta, if they don't mind, it doesn't matter. Well, folks, this matters. This matters a lot. This is the best receiver, I think, that's ever played the game of football. It's not even close. He will shatter every single record that's being set right now by the Art Monks of this world.
And I guess today they have found a way to find Jerry Rice and get him the ball.
We talked about it at the beginning of the game, Dick. If you want to man up Jerry Rice, if you want to take those chances, go ahead, but you're taking some severe chances of paying some big penalties, and Jerry Rice's penalties today have come in points.
He's got 7 catches, and you remember 2 years ago he had 13 receptions and 5 touchdowns against the Falcons. So Steve Young is having a field day today, and the Falcons secondary victimized. 25 seconds remain in the first half. The Niners have scored 3 touchdowns in each of the first 2 quarters. Keith Jones returning for Atlanta. And he is stopped at the 21-yard line by Darren Jordan.
It's a nice job, nice combination there between Jordan and Whitmore. Just smashed him. Now, we talked about Jerry Rice earlier. You know, there's yards at your catch, the time of the catch, 81 yards. He's got more yards after he touches the ball and cradles it than before. That is not unusual for Jerry Rice, or for that matter, his former stablemate, I should say. On the other side, John Taylor out with a broken leg. Matter of fact, put on IR yesterday by the 49ers. Won't be available for another 4 weeks, but that is a Rice forte. Catch it and get it.
First down on the 21-yard line with 19 seconds remain. Penalty marker down, and Tony Smith is stopped cold. How about Steve Young, who has thrown for 336 yards in his first half?
Something about playing here at Candlestick for Steve Young against these wide-open offenses. He did it against Buffalo in the second game of the year, threw for over 400 yards.
Number 66 offside, 5 yards, repeat first down.
David Wilkins, the rookie out of Eastern Kentucky, was offsides there. Niners are starting to do a little free substitution.
Probably didn't expect to do it this early. If you're looking at the most yards gained through the air by a 49er quarterback, Joe Montana against an Atlanta Falcon team back in 1990, 476 yards.
That was on Jerry Rice's big day with the 5 touchdowns.
That makes sense, and Young is about 140 yards behind that. First down and 5, and the pass to Pritchard. And he's got it with the final second ticking off. Merton Hanks making the stop, and a timeout is called with 6 seconds remaining. Falcons still have 1 left.
Well, Chris Miller and the Falcons just want to make something happen. They have the best chance. You know they can execute those Hail Mary bombs at the end of a half or end of a game, and no team knows that better than the 49ers. They've been beaten twice, first by Billy White Shoes Johnson on that kind of a play in the early 80s, and last year by Michael Haynes.
Chris Miller in a huge uphill climb as he thinks about the rest of this first half. 6 seconds to go, and then the second half on how to try to come back trailing by 32 points. Jerry Rice has caught 2 touchdown passes, 1 for 80 and moments ago for 40 yards. This may be the last play of the first half. And Miller has nowhere to go, and that'll do it. An explosive display by the 49ers offense. And that is the end of the first half here at Candlestick Park. With the score, the 49ers 42. That's a record for them in a half. The Falcons 10.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by your Toyota dealer, who invites you to discover the all-new Corolla. Discover Corolla again. The Card, the American Express card. Don't leave home without it. And by Norelco. Norelco patented lift and cut shavers. The NFL Today Dockers Halftime Report is sponsored by Levi's Dockers. Nobody does color like Dockers.
Welcome back to our studios, everyone. Greg Gumbel along with Terry Bradshaw. This Atlanta-San Francisco game is a humdinger if you're a 49er fan. It's the most points in the first half in 49er history, and we talked about the problems Steve Young was having with Jerry Rice hooking up on touchdown passes. No such problems today.
Well, this was a perfect situation for Jerry Rice to break out. If you call it a slump, it's not a slump. In fact, that the Falcons love to gamble, and when you gamble with the blitz, then you force your corners into man-for-man protection, and when you go one-on-one against Jerry Rice, you should be beaten, and today Jerry Rice is having himself a field day.
So is Ricky Waters, too, with his share of the load, and the 49ers standing a good chance to go 6-1 on the season. Meanwhile, in Phoenix, the New Orleans Saints have just jumped on top of the Cardinals by a 16-14 score in the third quarter. It happened on this Bobby Hebert to Dalton Hilliard touchdown.
You know, one thing you cannot defense is a quarterback with the ability to scramble. When he does that, everyone loses coverage responsibilities. Hebert outside. Hilliard gets around the linebacker, and a beautiful job by Hebert. Not known for scrambling, but a very accurate quarterback nonetheless when he's running.
Saints missed the extra point. It's a 2-point lead for New Orleans, 16-14 in the third quarter. Third quarter at Anaheim. The Rams leading the Giants by a 17-10 score. Jim Everett had a nice touchdown pass in the first half to number 88, Pat Carter.
Hey, look at this, Greg. We just got through talking about Hebert, but look at Everett moving around, finding Pat Carter. Pat Carter really becoming a great recovery receiver for Everett, getting out, finding him another touchdown.
Yeah, 119 yards in the first half for Jim Everett. New England at Miami, 3 touchdown passes for Dan Marino. Dolphins leading the Patriots 24-10 in the third. In the third quarter at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos by a field goal over the Houston Oilers. And at the Kingdome in Seattle at halftime, the Raiders shutting out the Seahawks 12-0. Todd Marinovich has left that game with an injured left knee. Jay Schrader is the quarterback. Marinovich may return in the second half. Now, action earlier today. Let's start at RFK Stadium in Washington, where Eagles head coach Rich Kotite did not like what he saw at all. Mark Rippon.
Mark Rippon running to the right to Reggie White's side. When you have a defense that can rush the quarterback, you like to move your quarterback out. Clark gets it down, makes the catch for a touchdown.
Not many bright spots on the day for the Eagles, but this was one. Randall Cunningham becomes the all-time rushing leader for quarterbacks, 3,683 yards, but Keith Byers hits and fumbles, contributing to the Redskins' 16-12 win.
I really want to take my hat off to the guys that work for us. You know, our defense has really led us throughout this year through the tough times. And again, you know, we called upon them to get it done, and they did.
Andre Waters suffered a fractured left leg there. Friend of Terry Bradshaw is in the stands in Dallas watching the Cowboys roll against the Chiefs. Emmitt Smith with a 2-yard touchdown run, and then the defense turned it around on David Craig.
David Craig, if you're going to throw the ball to your third receiver back across the field, you better have a cannon for an arm. No cannon here. Interception by Horton.
A young ball club like we are, you got to feel that pressure every day. You got to have that sense of urgency, not only in every game, but in every practice. You got to have that sense of urgency to get better, and we feel that sense of urgency.
Cowboys have now won 10 in a row at home. In Chicago, windy day for the Bucks and the Bears. Jim Harbaugh, 1-yard touchdown pass to Brad Muster out of the backfield. He scored 2 today. And then Jim Harbaugh, a big pass play to Anthony Morgan.
Yeah, after suffering the verbal abuse by his head coach, Mike Ditka, practically blamed for the loss to the Vikings. He comes back now, and his head coach calls him Jimmy. You know he likes you then.
I thought Harbaugh and did a good job of the offense. I thought Jimmy had a good game, and his elbow was bothering him, and then that's what happened in the second half. It tightened up, and he wasn't able to throw the ball down the field that much. But other than that, not much I can say. The pass protection was pretty solid, and, you know, it was a struggle. They're all going to be struggles, so I'm glad we came out on top of this one. That's about all I can say.
Bears have now won 5 straight against the Bucks. In Cleveland, head coach Bill Belichick likes what he sees in his Cleveland defense, putting the pressure on Brett Favre here. Vince Newsom gets the blitz, and Kevin Mack scored 2 touchdowns. This one a 5-yarder. Cleveland defense hasn't allowed a touchdown in 13 quarters now. They beat the Packers 17-6. And in Indianapolis, Marion Butts was hurt, so on comes Rod Bernstein.
Bernstein was drafted out of A&M in the first round as a tight end, Greg, thus the 82 on his back. But today, over 150 yards rushing, and these Chargers have now won 2 games for the year.
2-4 on the year. The Colts fall to 3-3. 34-14 is the final. We remind you, coming up tonight after 60 minutes here on CBS, Game 2 of the World Series from Fulton County Stadium in Atlanta, where the Braves will host the Toronto Blue Jays. David Cohn will go for Toronto and John Smoltz for Atlanta. And the NFL will continue here on CBS right after this word from your local station.
Back at Candlestick Park, a glittering offensive show for the 49ers as they lead the Falcons 42-10. And back for the second half in just a moment.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by the Chrysler Corporation. In the car business, you lead, follow, or get out of the way. Cold filtered Keystone, Keystone Light, and Keystone Dry. And by McDonald's. What you want is what you get at McDonald's today.
Back here at Candlestick Park, all you have to know about that game is that the 49ers have averaged 11.2 yards per play. That's an automatic first down wherever you go. And how would you sum up that first half, Randy?
2 words: Jerry Rice. For the first time this year, Jerry Rice has grabbed a football game and a football team by the throat and said, "You're mine." Here first is the 80-yard bomb. Pump fake from Young. It's over now. Put it in the books. Save the energy. That's 6 points. But he didn't stop there. His second one was probably even a better play because he breaks tackles. He makes moves. He goes over the middle to get it. And now it's just a race. As soon as they can't pull him down, he's in. But we talked about this guy being the total package as a receiver. Watch this block on Tim McKyer, setting up Ricky Waters' touchdown early in the second quarter. Unbelievable the game Jerry Rice has put together so far.
And as you might expect, as Jerry Rice gets set for the second half, the Falcons will get the ball first. Is that ordinarily we'd be talking about Ricky Waters and 3 touchdowns and 70 yards, but Rice has eclipsed him. On the kickoff, bobbling the kickoff was Tony Smith. Fortunately, the Falcons have retained possession. We'll give you a look now at the halftime statistics. 336 passing yards, the total yards right down the line.
That's yards per play. I mean, we're not talking first down, second down, third down. We didn't break that out. That is every single time they snap the ball, they're getting 11 yards.
You know, 5.4 is not bad as you look at Atlanta on an ordinary game, but this is not an ordinary game.
Look for Atlanta. This is a very proud, very aggressive team. Look for Atlanta to come out blazing offensively and defensively.
They start from their own 26-yard line. Tony Smith is the running back, and he gets the call, clawing and fighting his way for yardage. Hard to come by, and picks up only 2.
I think they proved in the first half if there's some success, there's some victory to be won against this defense, it is on the outside throwing the ball. It is through the air throwing the ball. It is not attacking the middle of that defense. The middle of that defense is too big and too quick, and they won't see anything but a nickel look for the rest of the game from the 49ers.
Second down and 9, call it, from the 27-yard line. Out of the red gun, Miller will throw, and he's got Haynes, who was immediately hit, double covered that time by Hanks. First Davis was there, and a gain of 10 yards, but a penalty marker is down at the line of scrimmage.
That's back in holding territory, sure enough.
Holding, offense number 79, 10 yards, retreat second down.
That's the right guard, Bill Fralick.
Working against Pierce Holt, but, you know, wasn't it? Fralick comes in, and he's trying to pass block against Pierce Holt, and Holt gives him an arm over and goes. Look at that left arm. See the left arm on the leg of Pierce Holt there? That was the hold.
Pierce Holt, called by many of the Falcon offensive people as the most underrated defensive lineman that the Niners have, and they use a bunch.
Well, Fralick said he's the most underrated and most aggressive and just best lineman he plays against during the entire year that nobody really knows anything about.
Second down and 19. A stunt by the Niners. Falcons keep them out. but Miller has nowhere to go with it, and Chris Miller runs out of bounds at the 21-yard line. And that will bring up third down after a 4-yard pickup, third and long for Chris Miller.
Well, considering the situation the Atlanta offensive line is being put in, they're not doing a bad job. The Niners are rushing 4 people and dropping 7, and Chris Miller in this situation will need anywhere from 4 to 4.5 seconds every time he drops back. There will be no quick hitch type things. He's got to have time because there's so many defenders back there for the 49ers in coverage.
Niners have done a terrific job making sure that after the short patch, the receivers don't go anywhere. They've clamped down effectively. Third down and 15 now. They spread the defense. Miller steps up, and he guns it, and it's caught. Andre Rison is shy of the first down, but not by much.
This is all a matter of what foot he marks it with. If it's a right foot, it's not a first down. If it's left foot, see, it looks like he's marking it with the right in the middle.
Right in between, and it is a first down. They had enough.
Tip of the ball on that left foot, and that was a first down. Andre Rison, don't ignore this weapon. One of the top 5 receivers in the NFL. You fall asleep, he can make you pay. Look at that great lane. You see that? You hardly saw anybody until the last flash, anybody in Miller's view.
6 catches and 56 yards for Rison, who has caught 6 touchdown passes in the last 3 weeks. None so far today. First down on the 36, and Haynes trying to make a acrobatic catch. Can't do it. He was open for the moment, and it'll be second down. Olympic gold medal figure skater Christy Yamaguchi amongst the celebrities walking the sidelines here at Candlestick Park.
Grew up here across the bay in Fremont, California.
Looking to defend her gold medal in Lillehammer in 1994, the next Winter Olympics. CBS Sports will cover those games as well as they did the ones in Albertville. Second and 10 on the 36. Miller takes off, and Chris Miller will have enough for the first down. And took a hit from Merton Hanks, who's had an active game. Gain of 13 yards for Chris Miller, whose longest gain had been 8 yards rushing coming into this one.
And that's a situation, Dick. If you're an Atlanta offensive coach, if you're June Jones or Jerry Glanville, you hold your breath a little bit. You don't breathe when Chris Miller's out there running. You're in a game, you're down by 32 points. The last thing you want is to have your Pro Bowl quarterback get dinged up trying to make something happen running.
Jerry Glanville team looking to just chip away, trailing 42 to 10, but a first down on the Falcon 49.
I guarantee you Jerry Glanville's defense will come out putting hats on people.
Inside handoff to Tony Smith, and he gets a couple into Niner territory. A pickup of 2 yards. Bill Romanowski was there for the stop. We did not see the Falcons blitz once in the first half.
Well, they may have blitzed a time or two, Dick, but I think Steve Young read their defensive tendencies extremely well. If he saw something coming blitz-wise, he audibled. And anytime a defense hears audibles, it makes them a little hesitant, a little softer.
Four minutes have gone by in the third quarter. Falcons have had the ball since the start of this period. Second down and 8. Out of the shotgun is Miller. And Miller drills it to a wide open Andre Rison. And Rison steps out of bounds, almost as if they're playing the 2-minute drill on the first series of the third quarter, and a gain of 19 yards.
Like we said, everything is a matter of getting little victories, getting little wins. And the Falcons now are getting some momentum, getting the timing, getting the continuity of their offense. And the 49ers have suddenly started playing a much softer style of defense. They're almost playing a prevent defense.
6 touchdowns already, and that despite being inactive for the first game of the season. First down on the 30. Rison and Griffin are hooked up, and they give the ball to Tony Smith, and Tony Smith is ridden out of bounds and will have another Falcon first down inside the 20. Eric Davis making the tackle, and Smith picked up 11 that time.
you get a good idea of the leg strength of a Tony Smith right here. Watch Michael Carter. He's the second defensive lineman in, number 95, working against Freilich. Look at Carter. He tries to wrap him up. Smith runs right through it. Good job by Smith to just keep things churning and not let a man that outweighs you probably conservatively by 80 pounds bring you down.
Nose tackle Michael Carter getting a breather. 1st and 10 on the 19-yard line. Miller's pass, and it's incomplete on a hop to Rising, and defending on the play was Griffin.
Once again, Chris Miller throws a divot ball, throws a ball in there about a half a foot to a foot in front of the receiver into the ground. They one hop it. I mean, so far as receivers could be good second basemen, but they're not getting too many chances in those out situations of getting the ball thrown right at them.
In the defensive line for the Niners, Garen Veras, the former New England Patriot, who was picked up as a free agent, a good pass rusher. There is Veras. 2nd down and 10. 10th play of the drive coming up. And the handoff is to Tony Smith. Romanowski immediately there. Bill Romanowski.
Well, his alma mater, Boston College, has got to be just a little bit happy about that little win they had yesterday against Penn State. I'm sure he was smiling last night.
First time that the BC Eagles had ever beaten Penn State at State College. And a high-energy performer, probably plays more snaps than any defender. Much appreciated by George Seifert, that man. 3rd down and 6. Out of the shotgun again. Feign gas, showing blitz. Here he comes. And Miller is down quickly, and it's Romanowski again. And a loss of 7 yards on the play.
You talk about the number of plays Romanowski plays. He's in on base. He is the nickel linebacker and does a nice job. See, there he had contained. Gash is coming on a blitz from the right. Romanowski's job, and the reason he was running so quick to get there, was to make sure nothing could get outside of him on the left-hand side.
So now the Falcons trying to come up with some points. Norm Johnson with a 41-yard attempt. He made good on a 51-yarder earlier, and this kick is no good. It is off to the right, but a penalty marker is down. Niners are indicating that there's a holding call against the Falcons. See what Larry Nemmers, our referee, tells us. And it is against Atlanta, so that threat goes by the boards.
Holding, offense, number 58. Penalty is refused. 1st down.
It's one thing that always amazes me about kickers, how you can earlier, not only but 45 minutes ago, hit a 51-yarder and nail it. You get a 41-yarder, which should be a chip shot, and you push it right.
Well, tonight from Atlanta Stadium, the Toronto Blue Jays against the Atlanta Braves. Braves won last night. Damon Berryhill's 3-run home run. And on the mound will be David Cone, who's 9-3 lifetime against the Braves while pitching for the Mets. And John Smoltz will try to make it 2 out of 2 for the Braves. Coming up tonight at 8 o'clock, right here on CBS Sports. 1st down, 49ers on the 23. And the handoff is to Ricky Waters. Trying to go wide, and good pursuit that time by Jesse Tuggle, and a gain of 3 yards.
Nice job by Waters there right at the end of that play. Jesse Tuggle, one of the leading tacklers in the NFL the last couple of years, closing in to make a hit on him, and Ricky put a little stiff arm on him.
But how must the Falcons feel after using 6 minutes and 43 seconds of the clock and coming up empty after the field goal missed? 2nd down and 6. The Niners on their own 27-yard line with just under 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. Play fake. Steve Young wide open. Mike Sherrard into Falcon territory, and he fumbles it out of bounds. It's still 49er ball and a big gain. Darian Connor covering downfield, but not before Sherrard picks up 34 yards.
And there's doing things the short way and doing things the long way. Watch Sherrard all the way at the top, comes all the way across the field, and Young hits him. And if you're recognizing a pattern here, it is true, because that's what happened the whole first half. The Niners got the ball, and they scored 6 of the 7 times they had the ball in the first half.
Coming in the game, Sherrard led the 49ers in receiving yards. First down on the 40-yard line of Atlanta. Play fake again, and Young is going up top for Jerry Rice, but that pass is overthrown as Rice was covered effectively downfield by Tim McKyer.
Steve Young took a pretty good shot on that last play and sort of looking to the sidelines, flexing his hand a little bit. Watch the end of the play. He holds it. He holds it. Might be a case of getting a little greedy here. Held it long enough, tried to get it long to Jerry Rice, and paid the price, catching his wrist right on the top of Tippins' helmet.
Steve Young has completed 16 of 25, came in as the leading percentage completion passer in the league, 369 yards. Comes up 2nd and 10. Odessa Turner goes in motion, and the pass, McKyer knocks it down, and they're going to call him for interference on Mike Sherrard.
See, Sherrard hasn't seen the flag yet. He's complaining to the wrong official. The guy in the middle is the one that gave you that call, Mike. That catches an official's eye faster than anything else. When you see a receiver either turn
Defensive
around.
pass interference, number 22. Spot foul, automatic first down.
You see that receiver either turn around real quick or fall down. Officials almost assume it's got to be holding or some sort of a penalty by the defensive back. That's not holding, that's mugging. Does a good job. Something about not having to have your hands on the guy after he goes more than 5 yards downfield, I believe, fits somewhere in that rule.
It's like getting on a cable car. He was going for a ride.
But Tim McKyer, you know, talk about Deion Sanders being a very good man-on-man pass coverage person. Tim McKyer is a very good pass coverage cornerback who has had his confidence badly shaken this year. He's been burnt quite a few times, but he's very athletic.
14-yard penalty and a first down on the 26-yard line. And the pass to Sherrard is broken up by Bruce Pickens, who had his first NFL interception in the first half today. But you mentioned McKyer and how his confidence may be shaken. When you don't have the other cornerback there, in this case Deion Sanders, it's not going to be like it was a year ago.
Well, it's equal effect to an analogy can be drawn between Jerry Rice not having John Taylor. Tim McKyer not having Deion Sanders does affect the entire defense. It affects who your 5th and your 6th defensive back is in the nickel situations. But, you know, looking at this now, if you had any doubts of the Niners letting up on Jerry Glanville and the Falcons, of taking it easy, look at the last 3 plays. They are going for the throat.
And here is a reverse. Jerry Rice with Steve Young blocking in front, and Rice is going to go in unmolested. Touchdown. I wonder what Jerry Glanville must be thinking, because you just said that the Niners are pulling out all the stops with a big lead, and here it is on the reverse.
Razzle dazzle, fake 19 Bob, see around right. Here comes Steve Young, tries to make a block, almost gets in the way. Jerry Rice, another touchdown. Talk about busting your biggest star loose on a big day. Jerry Rice has been strong, and Jerry Glanville won't forget it.
And Mike Cofer's kick is good. 49-10. Do they remember last year's 2 losses to the Falcons?
Here comes Jerry Rice.
You bet they do.
Pure speed, pure athletic ability, pure 6.
And you can't blame him for celebrating and having a good time. Jerry Rice, 3 touchdowns today. Ricky Waters also 3, but Rice has been spectacular. 49-10, the 49ers lead. And the kickoff to Keith Jones. And Jones is tripped up shy of the 30-yard line by Martin Harrison. A 28-yard return. Falcons have to be shell-shocked with this onslaught. Jerry Rice is having his finest game of the season, maybe in many seasons. And Randy, tell us, as you take a look at the number of touchdowns he has in history, what separates him from those other great players?
Some awful fast company, but you got to bump him up, I think, up there below Jim Brown, because Jerry Rice has played 7 seasons in 7 games. The rest of those guys played a long time in the league.
Falcons have a first down on the 30-yard line. Chris Miller with some pressure, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Michael Haynes. And right now, for an update on the Giant Ram tussle in Anaheim, let's check in with Greg Gumbel. Greg?
All right, Dick, in Anaheim, Cleveland Gary scores his 2nd touchdown of the day. This one from 5 yards out. He's over 100 yards rushing on the afternoon, and the Rams have taken charge. 31-10 over the Giants in the 4th quarter, Dick.
Thank you, Greg. Rams looking for their 3rd win of the year. Right here, we've had a penalty marker down, apparently against the Falcons.
The personal foul against Bill Fralick, the right guard on that one.
You can't blame the Falcons for being frustrated. The old story goes, if you don't like to be ridden into the ground, do something about it and stop them. But I think this is a game that Jerry Glanville and his team are going to remember for a long time.
Things just tend to mount and grow and get worse and worse. It's kind of like that old Gilda Radner character on Saturday Night Live. You know, if it's not this, it's that. If it's not one thing, it's another. And that's what happens when the games get this bad for an offense, especially this style of an offense that going in throws a lot, and now you have no chance of fooling anybody with a run.
2nd and 25. Steve Broussard is in at running back. Miller's pass almost picked off, thrown right into the hands of Bill Romanowski. Incomplete.
Romanowski, the right place at the right time on this pass. Anticipates, moves from his middle linebacker position right into that hole. We talked about the window earlier that Chris Miller threw. There was no window that time. There were 2 hands belonging to number 53.
Jerry Rice so far today has outgained the entire Atlanta Falcons offense. Rice has gained 209 yards. Actually, he's behind the Falcons by 8, but it may not be long before he surpasses them. 3rd down and 25. Miller tripped up, and David Wilkins behind the line of scrimmage at the 8-yard line, and a loss of 7 and the 3rd sack of the game by the 49ers. Everyone's getting in the act today for the Niners.
And one question you don't ask at a time like this, if you're an Atlanta fan or an Atlanta coach, is, okay, well, what else could possibly go wrong? Because you're punting, and a lot of things can go wrong when you punt.
Scott Fulhaig will kick from his end zone, and Alan Grant is back deep for the Niners. Grant will let it bounce, and it will stop right around the 40-yard line, where it's down by the Falcons. And the Niners will have great field position again following that 31-yard kick. I wonder what more tricks they have up their sleeve. It's a beautiful city to have beautiful pictures, and thanks to the Bud 1 airship, they'll be going up the coast for their next appearance. And the 49ers are playing like they are the Bud 1 airship today. They are ready to go over the 500-yard mark in total yards. They're at 499. They start 1st and 10 from the 39-yard line of the Falcons. And Ricky Waters, look at him juke his way for about 3. Oliver Barnett making the stop.
And you would think now at 49-10, the Niners are going to start running the ball and pounding things in a little bit. They've got Steve Young still in the ball game. There is still 5 minutes and 35 seconds to go in the third quarter. But Steve Bono has been on the side warming up, so I don't think we're going to see a whole lot more of Steve Young.
Keep in mind the 49ers team record for most points in a regular season game is 52. They are down 3 to that total right now. They beat Denver, of course, in the Super Bowl in 1990, 55-10. Here is Tom Rathman on the count, and he is hit at the 35-yard line. He picks up 2 yards. So far today, the 49ers have scored 7 touchdowns in 8 possessions. That's about as perfect as you can get offensively in a game.
You know, not very many people leaving the stadium right here. 4 minutes to go in the third quarter. The Niners are up by 39 points. This is kind of like the Christians and the Lions and the Romans, the spectators. It's kind of a mismatch. Things are getting ugly, but nobody's leaving.
And they all have their thumbs down.
Exactly, way down. There's one of the guys who's contributed a lot to stuffing this Atlanta offense, Pierce Holt.
And timeout called by the 49ers. Now, this is what the 49ers have done in the last 4 years. Offense against Atlanta, and you see much better against the Falcons, all over 400 yards than what they've done against the rest of the NFL. And they have kept it going today in record-setting fashion against this club. 504 yards.
And we're not done with the third quarter yet.
No, we're not. Tell you, it's got to be a pleasure for Mike Shanahan, the offensive coordinator, to have so many weapons and see everything work so well.
He has been a great plus. People in this area, I live here, talked about the fact that Shanahan being here would be different from Holmgren, and it might be a minus. Mike Shanahan came in, spent a couple of months doing nothing but watching about 10 years worth of tape on the 49er offense. And Steve Young said we went into a meeting at the first kind of mini camp, and Mike Shanahan saying, well, you know, we do this and we've always done this and we think we should do, and Young's going, was he talking about Denver or the Raiders or what? And he said it took him about half the meeting to figure out Shanahan was talking about them.
He did his homework. 3rd down and 6. Steve Young fires and the pass is caught. Brent Jones, and a first down for the 49ers in a gain of 19 yards. There's another flag down. The rookie Terry Ray makes the stop for Atlanta.
Looked like a late shot on Steve Young at the end of that play.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness for a late hit on the quarterback. Half the distance from the goal, tack down from here, first down.
And you know, you got to think that if you're George Seifert, you want to get Steve Young out of there.
Well, you know, we asked George Seifert, do you worry when Steve Young runs with the ball? And he goes, well, normally I would, but look who I have on the bench. He's got Steve Bono, who's done a great job. Watch Solomon, 54, ball's gone. Pushes him in the back, don't have to do that.
Injuries do occur, but now you're looking at a big lead, and the 49ers have kept going. They're throwing everything at the Falcons. 1st and goal at the 8-yard line, leading 49-10. And the give is to Ricky Waters, and he'll be tossed back for a loss by Tim Green. First time we've mentioned Tim Green's name today. 3-yard loss on the play.
That was another example of trying to spread things out wide. The Atlanta defense on that play did a good job of stringing out that run play, and Ricky Waters getting that shake and that shiver and that quiver and the moves, and the Atlanta defenders are kind of standing there going, okay, are you done? Can we tackle you now?
Waters has scored 3 touchdowns today, as has Jerry Rice. Less than 3.5 to play in the third quarter. 2nd and goal, the ball now at the 12. And the pass is caught. Brent Jones has a touchdown. So the 49ers have now scored more points than they've ever scored before in regular season.
Pump fake, 3-step drop, quick action. Young's not looking to run, he's looking for 6, and he finds Brent Jones.
And if Mike Kofer makes good on the conversion, the 49ers will set an all-time scoring record for most points in a game, including postseason. And we're still in the third quarter of this game. And it's 56-10.
One more time, a look at that. Steve Young audibilizing to a three-step drop. Pump fakes. Isn't looking to run. Sees Brent Jones. Drags Riddick into the end zone for another 6 points. Niners 56-10 over Atlanta.
Well, this big trophy, which is bigger than the NCAA trophy, maybe the Stanley Cup, is the California trophy that the Falcons proudly have on their sideline, Randy.
Well, a local trophy maker in Atlanta made that for Jerry Glanville and his team. Coming into this game, they had a recent streak of 7-0 going against California teams, but something tells me that shan't be for much longer.
On the kickoff, Keith Jones will run it out from the end zone.
I don't know what Keith Jones is thinking bringing this ball out of the end zone. Jerry Glanville is not going to like that type of a decision. And there's Jerry talking on the sideline to Keith Rowan, his offensive line coach. And here he is a little while ago while we were in commercial. He was having a bit of a discussion with the officials.
You can read his lips. How can you miss it, he said. It's 56 points.
I'll tell you something, there is nobody that loves his team and is more fired up, more aggressive, and more committed to things than Jerry Glanville. And when things like this happen and he doesn't think it's fair, he's going to let somebody know about it.
First down on the 17-yard line. Billy Joe Tolliver is coming at quarterback for the Falcons. And his first pass is tipped incomplete, intended for Mike Pritchard. And several 49ers surrounding the receiver. The San Francisco defense, which obviously will be overshadowed when this game is over because of the great prolific offensive showing, has done a sensational job in halting those receivers from getting big plays today.
Well, what else is really new, Dick? I mean, you look at franchises around the country are known for different things. Chicago's known for defense. The Giants are known for defense. You think San Francisco, all the way back to the 40s, you think offensive and offensive firepower.
Second down and 10. Out of the shotgun is Tolliver. And he's under pressure and overthrows Haynes out of bounds. Steve Bono is warming up on the sideline for the 49ers. Steve Young has thrown for 399 yards this afternoon. Now, when you talk about the offensive tradition, just take a look at the quarterbacks and wide receivers who have played over the years from the late 40s until now.
There's some of them, and that's an impressive list, isn't it? Well, we're not talking about Joe Perry, Hugh McElhaney, Wendell Tyler, Roger Craig, Delvin Williams,
or John Henry Johnson.
I mean, it goes on and on. So this has always been an offensive franchise, and that's what you're seeing today. Some great defense and some unbelievable offense.
Third down and 10. Crowd's hungry for more. Tolliver's pass is caught by Rison and hit immediately by Don Griffin. The whistle had blown, and the play is down. Let's see if the Falcons picked up enough for the first down.
A nice job by Andre Rison, stretching with his entire body to the fingertips as far as he can get that ball out there, trying to get that first down.
The only touchdown for Atlanta today was a pass from Chris Miller to Michael Haynes, 44 yards. At that time, the score was 14-7. It'll be 4th and 1, and the Falcons looking for that yard. The running back is Keith Jones.
Had movement on the Falcons line. Chris Hinton moved at right tackle.
And if that's the case, Randy, it'll be 4th down and 6 with 1:57 remaining in the third quarter. And it is against Atlanta.
False start prior to the snap on the offensive line. 5 yards, 4th down.
What a tough situation to be in for Atlanta. You need a critical foot. You don't have tight ends. You don't have an awful lot of the power thing going. You want to get off to a good start, and a couple of the linemen for the Falcons jump.
So now the Falcons will kick it away, and Scott Fulhage will be punting. Alan Grant is back deep for the Niners. Fulhage gets off a good kick, and there's Grant looking for the return from the 39. Penalty flag is down, and so is Grant way back to the 36. Making the tackle was Ken Tippins.
Where that fell, with those flags, I should say, more than one, a couple of them fell. That's the classic holding area on a return. There we go.
Here's the call.
Holding on the receiving team, number 28. The penalty be assessed from the end of the run, 10 yards, first down.
Penalty is against rookie Dana Hall. Well, tonight, game 2 of the 1992 World Series, as the Atlanta Braves will try to make it 2 in a row over the Toronto Blue Jays. It has been a home field World Series last year and off of game 1 this year. David Cohn and John Smoltz will hook up. Hope you join us for the Fall Classic tonight beginning at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. So Steve Bono has come in for Steve Young, who had a brilliant afternoon today. Throwing 3 touchdown passes, 399 yards, and a new running back, Amp Lee and Mark Logan in there. Lee, rookie from Florida State, going out of bounds. Chased there by Tuggle, and a gain of 6 yards. Lee has carried the ball coming into this game 5 times this year.
And we've talked about this offense for the 49ers being the leading rushing offense in the league. A lot of the credit goes to this man right here. It's Bob McKittrick, the offensive line coach for the 49ers. He's been in professional football for 22 years, and we'll show you here in a little while. He's only coached 4 offensive lines. People don't like the techniques he uses a lot of the times with the cut blocks and whatnot, but they're very effective. He's one of the top couple coaches in the league.
2nd and 4, and Amp Lee is stopped short of the first down yardage by Tim Green. A pretty distinguished group of offensive lines that Bob McKittrick has coached in his career.
And that line with the Rams is kind of the line I grew up watching down in Los Angeles, especially Tom Mack, that great pulling guard. Goes down to the Chargers, had a good line. Russ Washington was there forever as a tackle, very effective with Danny Fouts, and kind of, you know, the sequel thing going. They got it with movies. Well, Bob McKittrick has it going with offensive lines. There was the 49ers 1 and the 49ers 2. The common thing that's been for them is they've won Super Bowls, and they've had that man coaching their offensive line.
Can't ask for more than that. And the give is to Mark Logan, who needed a yard. Let's see if he got it. Changes up front on the offensive line for the 49ers. Harry Boatswain is now playing left tackle. Ralph Tam, who is the kick snapper, has replaced Jesse Sapolo at center. Brian Bollinger is now the right guard. And we are going to measure, apparently. 7 seconds remain in this 3rd quarter, and Steve Bono goes to the sideline.
You know, as a football player in this situation, we in the broadcasting business and fans and the media in general can sometimes say, well, gee, why are they pouring it on? Why are they scoring so many points? You know, I can tell you as an athlete, I don't care who you're playing for. As you see, the Niners are just short of a first down. I don't care who you're playing for or what sport you're playing. If you've got a pitcher you can hit a lot and hit well, you want as many cracks as possible. If you have a defense you can get shots on and you think you can score on, I don't care if you're the 1st string, the 2nd string, or the 3rd string, everybody wants their shot and their chance to do it.
And that's why they say if you don't like it, stop them. But that doesn't make it easy for the Falcons, as the final seconds will tick off. There's a guy we haven't seen at all today, Klaus Wilmsmeyer, the punter. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score, the Niners 56 and the Falcons 10. And our coverage will continue after this message from your local station. You're watching the NFL on CBS. What do you do at the end of a fight? You cut the gloves off, and Ricky Watters getting the tape off.
I can tell you from experience, when you get ahead, you want to get into the locker room and get showered as quickly as possible. The easiest way, get all that tape on that. If Ricky could, he'd take his socks and his shoes off, have him cut the ankle tape on.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer gets hit, and a penalty flag is down. Tony Smith returning for the Falcons, but the 49ers are going to retain possession. We'll have a running into the kicker or roughing the kicker against Atlanta.
We got to look at that again, Dick, because it looked at first glance that Washington, number 46, who runs into Wilmsmeyer, was blocked into him. And that in itself should not be a penalty. Let's see, is there contact? Is he being blocked? He's being blocked. Oh, definitely.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 46, 15, first down.
I don't agree with that. John Johnson, number 55, was blocking him up to the exact second he runs into the kicker.
You didn't think the Falcons were going to get a break the rest of this game, did you?
Silly me.
Tim Harris, who came into the game with 6.5 sacks and picked up 1 today, despite all of his injuries to the right side of his body.
I was a left-handed guy, actually. I throw right-handed, but I get hurt left-handed. I hurt my left wrist, I broke my left elbow, I broke my left leg, I hurt my left knee, I did my left ankle. Could never get that right. I was always going in circles.
You two should get together. 1st and 10.
We got a lot of spare crutches around our houses.
On the 48-yard line of Atlanta following the penalty. And here is Amp Lee trying to reverse his direction. And he gets to about the 45. Darian Connor making the tackle. Second-round draft pick out of Florida State. Used as a kick returner, and one of the few times he has the luxury of seeing action as a running back.
And coming into this season, the talk around the league was the big competition between Amp Lee, the rookie, and Ricky Waters. You know, Waters had, like we talked, alternated in college between receiver and running back. Niners took kind of a gamble on him and said, we're going to make him a running back. A lot of people thought this would be the guy, but since Ricky Waters' emergence, he had to look in the program if you want to see a picture of what this guy looks like. He hasn't seen the field too much.
He is today, and on 2nd and 7, Amp Lee carries the ball, and he gets about 2. Will bring up 3rd and short for the 49ers. Again, Connor making the stop for the Atlanta Falcons.
Bill Romanowski, you talk about all the times Bill Romanowski plays. He plays in the nickel, he plays in the base. When he first got there, we always got to the 49ers, we always thought this guy was a little bit half nuts. Because you looked at him, clean-cut, kind of Ivy League-looking kid, and he had this crazy motor. He wanted to hit everything. The first guy he hits in practice, the first day of pads, he almost rips Jerry Rice's head off, and everybody in the offense is looking at this guy like, what are you, crazy? Are you unclear on the concept? You don't hit the money like that.
You like him a little nuts, but not that nuts. 3rd down and 6, Odessa Turner in motion, and a penalty marker is down.
Ran out of time on the clock there.
Delay of the game.
Delay on the offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
49ers came into this game with a record of 5-1, the best record in the NFC, and a critical game for the Atlanta Falcons at 2-4. As we said, they had lost a lot of the close ones this year, reversing the trend of a year ago. And coming into the game, the NFC West showed the 49ers a game in front of New Orleans. Now the Rams, beating the Giants, will knock Atlanta into last place in the NFC West. 3rd down and 11. Ron Lewis and Odessa Turner are the wide receivers. Lewis to the bottom of your picture.
Delay game again. Now this is something Bono can't like
Delay,
too much.
offense, 5 yards, still 3rd down.
There's no reason for an experienced quarterback, and believe me, with the experience Bono got last year playing for the Niners and the job he did, there's no excuse to have 2 back-to-back delay of game penalties. That's this miscommunication and playing with inexperienced players.
Third down and 16 following the 2 penalties. Bono steps up, and he's going deep for Lewis. And Lewis was out of bounds when he made the catch. Showed some of that speed he possesses.
Well, that's definitely how to make friends and influence people. If you're ahead 56-10 and you're throwing bombs down the sideline, this will be stuff that Jerry Glanville will keep in a highlight reel to show his guys when they play in 3 weeks down in Atlanta. Both these teams have next week off. Jerry Glanville and the Falcons have got the Los Angeles Rams down in Atlanta, and then the 49ers come to the Georgia Dome to play the Falcons. And believe me, Glanville and these guys are going to be ready for them.
Klaus Wilmsmeyer punting for the second time, and the kick was not blocked. Although they must have gotten a piece of it. Here is Tony Smith, and he is buried back at the 11-yard line. Wilmsmeyer got decked. Don't know how the kick was not blocked by Terry Ray.
Well, all you have to do is get a little bitty piece of it.
First down.
And he must have gotten a piece, must have deflected it somehow.
Let's watch this. Here comes the snap from Ralph Tam. Klaus Wilmsmeyer, watch for the contact. Yep. Just a little brush by Terry Ray, but that's all it takes.
The 49ers story, 545 yards, a team record for points. Young with 3 passing touchdowns, and Rice and Waters each have scored 3 themselves. 1st and 10 for the Falcons on the 11-yard line. Billy Joe Tolliver completes the pass, and into the game at wide receiver James Milling. A 15-yard pickup for the Falcons. When this game started, Randy, it looked as if the 49ers were skittering. The special teams, Amp Lee bobbled the first kickoff of the game. Atlanta looked like they were pinning the 49er offense, and then a 3rd down, 30-yard pass play by Steve Young, and then it broke.
We said we had 2 great offenses, and it was going to be a high-scoring game unless one defense bowed up and decided to play, and the Niner defense bowed up big time.
First down on the 26. Eric Pegram is stopped behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. 1-yard loss on the play. Pierce Holt.
Well, you got to think when you see a pumpkin like that, it's getting towards the end of October, and we're talking trick or treat. Now, the trick or the treat part depends on which end of this game you're sitting on.
Think we can figure it out? There's Steve Young, who completed 18 of 28 today for 399 yards. 3 touchdown passes, 1 interception. And Chris Miller, who didn't have much of a chance, falling way behind early. 2nd down and 11 for Tolliver. And the pass is complete to Jason Phillips. A pickup of 5. That'll bring up 3rd down. Tolliver was the quarterback last year when he threw the Hail Mary to Michael Haynes to give the Falcons a 17-14 victory at Fulton County Stadium to complete the sweep of the 2 games between the teams. Different year this year.
And it's been a tough year. Like Bill Fralick told us yesterday, he says, you know, this is a team that needs a win bad. They're obviously not going to get it. But Fralick said we've managed at least 3 or 4 times to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory.
Last week was one of those times against the Dolphins. Out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 6. Tolliver on the run, and the pass is overthrown, intended for Drew Hill, and that will bring up 4th down. Well, if you look at the Falcons after today at 2-5, you figure that at best or worst 10-6 to be a playoff team. So that means they can really afford to lose maybe 1 more game. And you look at the schedule, and you got the 49ers at home, Buffalo away. This is their upcoming schedule, of which 4 of the 5 games in November will be at home. But then later on, they're at New Orleans and Dallas at home. It's going to be a long haul for Atlanta.
It really is. And 10-6 is optimistic in the NFC. A lot of power this year in the NFC.
Penalty marker is down, and Alan Grant is hit at his own 40-yard line. Flag down at about the 30-yard line after Fulhage's kick. Harper LaBelle with the tackle on Grant. Ineligible receiver downfield is the call against Atlanta.
Illegal man downfield on the kicking team, number 88. Penalty is refused. First down.
Well, we have just under 10 minutes. Hey, looking at this scenery won't hurt, no matter what the score here in the ballpark.
CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League is sponsored by American Honda, who has been making quality cars in America for the past 10 years. HP LaserJet printers. If it isn't a LaserJet, it's only a laser printer. And by Valvoline Motor Oil. People who know use Valvoline.
Dick Stockton and Randy Cross back at Candlestick Park. 9:55 remaining. First down for the 49ers on their 40-yard line. Steve Bono, the quarterback, gives off to Amp Lee, who picks up about 5 yards on the carry. And the tackle is made by Torrey Epps.
Yeah, we talked earlier about Waters cutting the tape off his wrists and whatnot. Take a look at that group there. You wouldn't want to give them a pair of scissors to cut the tape off their wrists right now, because after this kind of a game, they might not stop at the tape.
Ooh. Long day. Second down and 5 at the 45-yard line. Amp Lee off left tackle. Well, the 49ers have chalked up a lot of air miles, haven't they, Randy, since preseason?
Well, this has always been a team that traditionally does a lot of traveling. And this year, right there in that first trip, they almost traveled as many miles as Detroit will travel in the entire year this year. The average for an 8-game away schedule, or 10 road games during your season, and 10 road games counting preseason, is about 30,000 miles. We're in the 7th week of the season. 2 New York trips, a London trip. They're already at the average, and they're not done yet.
No, they're not. They still have to travel to Minnesota and Atlanta. Third down and 3 at the 47-yard line. And the pass intended for Turner as he slipped on the turf, covered by Bruce Pickens. And that will bring up 4th down. The 49ers have scored 3 touchdowns in each of the first 2 quarters and 2 touchdowns in the third for their total of 56 points. Klaus Wilmsmeyer will kick it away. There was a professional team in this town that once scored 63, but that was in the years of the old All-America Conference when they scored 63 to beat the old Brooklyn Dodgers back in 1948.
That was still the 49ers.
Of the All-America Conference. Kicked. Returned by Tony Smith. And he takes a hit, and their penalty markers fly again. Mark Logan knocks Smith about 6 yards back with a crunching hit.
Hello and good morning, Mr. Logan. Whoa.
He'll get a praise in the film meetings this week, I'm sure.
I love seeing those hits. They go out as fast as they went in.
Penalty is against the Falcons. Illegal block on the return.
Nothing illegal about that hit Mark Logan put on him right there, though. That was one of those classic right through. You start at the numbers and you end at the numbers on the back of the jersey.
Illegal block in the back. Number 37 of the receiving team. Penalties enforced from the spot of the foul.
Mark Logan, who was a Plan B pickup from the Miami Dolphins. And a timeout with 8:09 to go. Now listen to this.
That is why football players need a better pension plan, because you don't think running into people that hard with your head doesn't take its toll over a career. You're crazy.
Looks like an easygoing guy, Mark Logan. You wouldn't know it from that hit.
Smith might argue with you about that.
First down on the 12-yard line for the Falcons. Eric Pegram is the running back. Billy Joe Tolliver the quarterback. Both teams have emptied their benches in this game. And the pass, George Thomas is there for the reception. And a gain of 12. Atlanta has a first down. First and 10 on the 24-yard line. Oliver looking for a receiver, and he's going to lose the ball. the Falcons have recovered. For those of you expecting to see 60 minutes, you are watching the NFL on CBS in the game between Atlanta and San Francisco. I'm Dick Stockton along with Randy Cross, and our score is 56-10 in favor of the 49ers. 60 minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following this game, except on the West Coast and the Mountain Time Zone.
Well, this game's been going on now for 3 hours. How come blowouts are never fast blowouts? They seem like they fly by when you're the team with the 56, but when you're the team with the 10, it seems like you've been here for an entire day one afternoon.
It takes time to score 56. And there's a bobble. Tolliver is being chased by Garen Veras, and he gets Pegram out of the backfield. And Eric Pegram has a first down. Probably not in the Atlanta playbook, but the Falcons on a 19-yard pickup with John Johnson making the tackle.
Good improvisation by Billy Joe Tolliver there, getting that ball to Pegram, because he had a whole crowd of folks bearing down on him. Roman Fortin is in at center with the shotgun snap there, number 65, in for Jamie Dukes. And he throws a flyer through there. But Tolliver has the poise.
First down on the 44, and the pass that should have been caught, intended for Jason Phillips. Incomplete. This game is presented by authority of the National Football League, and the CBS telecast is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of CBS, the San Francisco 49ers, and the National Football League is prohibited. On the sideline, Ricky Waters. Really a rookie considering his injured status a year ago, and Steve Young having a whale of an afternoon offensively today. Second down and 10 from the 44-yard line with 5:52 on the clock. Tolliver. Pass was thrown behind the intended receiver, Drew Hill.
I like that shot we had there with Steve Young and Tom Rathman with a Ricky Waters in the middle as a little sandwich there, and the veterans are sitting there watching the game. They have their hats on, they're relaxed, they're taking it easy, and look who knows there's a camera on him. Look who's talking. It's the rookie, the young guy. And every time he look at Steve Young, he's going, oh, don't do this to me. There's people watching. Don't start waving, and don't, whatever you do, don't say hi, Mom.
And Tom Rathman is not interested in all of looking at any cameras now. I tell you, Rathman has been a great influence to Ricky Waters on that field. Third down and 10. Tolliver gets hit from behind, and the Falcons fall on the ball. It was a fumble. Martin Harrison with the hit. David Wilkins.
Harrison and John Johnson, I think, are going to have to share a sack there between their sandwich job there on Billy Joe Tolliver.
5 sacks today by the 49ers defense. 3 of them by the reserves. Martin Harrison has 2, Wilkins 1, and then Harrison Romanowski. So Scott Fulhaig will kick, and Alan Grant back deep for the Niners.
If you're Jerry Glanville on the sideline, it's got to be start up the bus, fire up the jet, let's get out of here.
So send Grant back, and a fair catch called for at the 10-yard line. 47-yard kick that time by Fulhaig. The World Series resumes tonight. The Blue Jays and the Braves. Sean McDonough and Tim McCarver. And it all begins at 8 o'clock Eastern time. David Cone, 9-3 lifetime against the Braves when he worked for the Mets, will go against John Smoltz. I think Toronto's going to go with a 4-man rotation. Left-hander Jimmy Key will work in game number 4. And Deion Sanders, there's Deion Sanders right now, taking fly balls during the batting practice and fielding practice session for the Braves. Handoff is to Amp Lee, and he carries it out to the 20-yard line. Well, they missed him today, but I don't think it would have made a difference.
No, not at all. You know, one of the things that I think the big difference between football and baseball when you get into big games, you know, the Super Bowls, the World Series, the play, you know, NLCS, the ALCS, those type of things, a lot of unlikely heroes. You know, Gene Tennis for the Oakland A's. You got last year was Mark Lemke this year, game 1, Damon Berryhill. I mean, it kind of brings the everyday sports fan, the real baseball fan, into the game, where football is basically a game, to me, that a lot of the times is based on stars and the stars' performance.
You're right. 2nd down and 2, and here's Logan. And Logan bursts through for a big gain. Terry Ray on the tackle. So
Flags down.
Mark Logan with a big hit and then a big gain, and it may be nullified as penalty markers are down at about the 30, and it will come back.
I got a funny feeling this is going to be against Guy McIntyre.
Yeah, what makes you think so?
Little unnecessary roughness. I think it was that elbow he threw in somebody's face. Just relax, Guy. You're a Pro Bowler. You're a great pulling guard, one of the best in the business. Just take a chill at the
Personal
moment.
foul, number 62, at the end of the play, 15 yards.
Pointing the other way.
Well, he means the other way. Jerry's going to help him. If he's confused, Jerry's going to help him. Guy McIntyre's leaving the field.
You know, this is the last thing Glanville needs, even a mistake by an official pointing the wrong way.
Well, for starters, guys, they don't have a 62 on defense. So if you point it that way, turn to the stands in the other direction, then you'll be pointing the right way. And Jerry's kind of, I'm through with you guys. Now here's what happened. Here's Guy McIntyre lined up at left guard. Keep an eye on him, working right here against Torrey Epps. Working, running play, moving downfield. Ooh, Epps got his hand inside of Guy McIntyre's face mask.
After the play was over, personal foul on number 62 of the offensive team. It'll be 15 yards from the end of the run, and it's still a 1st down.
See, that's an example of Guy McIntyre being the second guy. Torrey Epps got his hands inside of Guy McIntyre's face mask, massaged his eyelids a little bit, and Guy McIntyre retaliated and hit him. And I can tell you from playing with Guy McIntyre for a few years, there's one thing that will set him off like a Roman candle, and that's guys getting their hands in his face. And that's exactly what Torrey Epps did, and Guy went off. And either the coaches took him out or the referee just came over here and notified George Seifert that Guy was thrown out of the game.
And, you know, you wonder why a player would get so upset in the waning moments of a game leading 56-10, and you would just explain why. It was something that he just drives him crazy. So McIntyre is out of there. 1st down on the 29-yard line. Amp leads. Gets a couple.
Okay, all right, here, we're going to take a look at this. Top left side of the screen. Watch what happens here towards the end. There's Guy McIntyre right against 74. That's fine. That's still football. And it had to come right after that. He had the launch one on him, or the officials would not have reacted the way they did.
Jesse Sapolo back in at center. Ralph Tam, who had been the center, moves to left guard. 2nd down and 5. For Steve Bono in relief of Steve Young, who put on a display today at quarterback. Amp lead. And we're winding down to 3 minutes remaining in the game. There has been no scoring in the 4th quarter, but the 49ers sure did enough in the first 3 to come away with a rousing victory, and the 56 points, the most ever scored by a 49er team in regular season or postseason.
Well, it was one of those days for the 49ers and the 49er offense. 7 of the first 8 times they got the ball, they scored touchdowns. And I mean, that's just inexcusable for a defense. A defense has got to put some sort of a barrier up, something. Some days you have great days, some days you don't have great days. This was definitely a great day for the 49er offense and not a great day for the Atlanta defense.
3rd down and 4, and here comes the blitz on Bono, and the pass is incomplete, intended for Lewis. And it stops the clock with 2:22 remaining. New Orleans leading Phoenix 30-21 and have beaten the Cardinals. Dallas over Kansas City. That's a week after the Chiefs defeated the Philadelphia Eagles. And of course, Kansas City still has a date with the Redskins in a couple of weeks. Miami remains undefeated. They beat New England 38-17 after trailing early. So 6-0 Miami and 0-6 New England. Not a good snap. Penalty marker down as Wilmsmeyer's kick bounces on the 30 and takes a 49er bounce. You know, last week the Niners had trouble with the snap to the punter, and twice today they had.
That's something I think a lot of coaches take for granted, are those little things, the snap to the punter, the snap to the holders. Speaking of holding against the 49er punt team, and the way that ball rolled, you got to expect the Falcons to take this penalty and then make the 49ers kick it again.
Holding number 62 of the kicking team, 10 yards, previous spot, still 4th down.
Larry Nemmers getting a big play in this game. Everyone will know who Larry Nemmers is after this one. He had to dole out some fisticuffs earlier in the game, and then Guy McIntyre was ejected just a moment ago. So they're going to kick again.
Well, Guy McIntyre hangs around. He's still here. So obviously that was a coaching decision to get him out of the game and put a substitute in, and he wasn't thrown out of the game, because you get thrown out of the game, I believe you have to leave.
Wilmsmeyer will kick again. And the kick is blocked. And the 49ers will down it at the 35-yard line.
Here's the block punt coming from the left side of the screen. Watch Jesse Solomon, 54. Just a slow motion by Klaus Wilmsmeyer. He did not get that one off very quick, because for a defensive back to block one, you can see that the guys have the speed, but for a linebacker to come around like that, and no offense intended to Jesse. Jesse's got a lot of good speed, but he should not be able to come around a corner like that and block a punt.
Well, Guy McIntyre, we understand, was thrown out, and he must leave the field.
As mad as he looked last time we saw him, Dick, I wouldn't want to have to tell him that.
Wade Wilson has come in the game at quarterback, and he completed to George Thomas. And we are down to our 2-minute warning. McIntyre is still on the field, and the information given us is that he was ejected from the game. We'll be back. Well, Randy, a few moments ago you said, I don't want to be the guy to tell Guy McIntyre to leave the field, but they found someone to do it.
Well, he's smiling and he's laughing, so now it was safe for George Seifert to come up to him and go, Guy, the league, it's not me, it's the league.
I wouldn't do it.
If it was for me to say, I'd say stay, let's celebrate, but the league says you should leave the field. They've thrown you out of the game.
George wouldn't do it, you wouldn't do it, none of his teammates would, but the league said he should go, and this is when he gave him the word. So Wade Wilson, the third quarterback to see action today for the Falcons, who have a first down on the 25-yard line of the Niners. Pass is incomplete. George Thomas, the intended receiver. So the Niners leading 56-10 with 1:53 to go. 592 total yards today. Well, today's game
Hello,
here.
everyone. Joe Fonzi with Dwight Clark inviting you to stay tuned for the 5th quarter. Coming up next, we will rehash this crazy game from Candlestick Park. It's all coming up next on the 5th quarter.
The NFL on CBS is Ed Gorin. Our thanks to Marty Aronoff and Dave Corus for their work up here in the booth. 2nd down and 10. That pass is caught. And it's Jason Phillips that time. Timeout is called by the Falcons with 1:45 to go, and those fans who are still here are not pleased with that move.
Well, excuse Jerry Glanville for wanting to score some points. I mean, he's down by 46 points, but it's still a deal where there's time left on the clock. This is still a football game, and the Falcons want to put some points on the board.
Jerry Rice with 3 touchdowns today. He has 102 for his career, including an 80-yard reception, the longest in 4 years. Another 40-yard catch, and then on a reverse he ran 26 yards. Ricky Waters scored 3 touchdowns as well. Steve Young. Well, this is going to pad the offensive stats of this ball club, and they didn't really need it. They were already #1 in the league in just about everything. Biggest thing will be their 6th win in 7 starts. 3rd down and 3. And Wilson going to the end zone and incomplete, intended for George Thomas. And defending on the play was Michael Magruder.
You look at this NFC, the NFC in general right now. Naturally, a lot of the strong teams are in that NFC East. You saw what Washington did today to Philadelphia. Dallas is going to be strong. But if you had to pick 2 teams right now that you would say are on a roll, one would be these 49ers and the offense and defense they're putting on the field, and the Minnesota Vikings with Denny Green. Denny Green has done a fabulous job in Minnesota.
He was great in preseason, and then everyone scoffed when he lost to Detroit, but that's the only loss he has suffered in the regular year. 4th down and 3 from the 18-yard line out of the shotgun, and the pass is caught by George Thomas, and a 1st down for the Falcons, who are looking to get another score. A pickup of 12 yards. And another timeout is called by Atlanta, and they have 1 left. I agree with you with the way the Minnesota Vikings have performed. A surprise early start for the Vikings approaching midseason. The Philadelphia Eagles, I would have said, would have been with the 49ers as the strongest teams in the NFC before the Eagles lost to Kansas City last week. And with the win today, the Washington Redskins are back in the race in the NFC East.
But if you look at the AFC, the division there is the AFC East. Miami, 6-0. The rest of that division is off this week, but Miami and New England, because of the hurricane game canceled earlier this year, played today. Miami 6-0, Buffalo strong. Central's the Central. I don't think there's a whole lot of power there. And out in the West, well, out in the West, it's Kansas City, who's an NFC-style team.
1st and goal, and here's the touchdown to Jason Phillips. Wade Wilson throwing the touchdown pass, 7 yards with 1:29 to go, and it's 56-16.
Almost a page out of the 49er playbook with a little quick motion. The man in motion's Phillips. Just throw it out in the flat like the 49ers do to Jerry Rice, and he takes that in, breaking a Thane Gash tackle.
Speaking of the AFC, Randy, the Denver Broncos defeated the Houston Oilers 27-21 today.
Well, right now, around midseason is when the teams that are doing well start looking at other teams' records and start thinking home field advantage. And that's what Kansas City's got to look at. They don't want to go to Buffalo, and they don't want to go to the Dome.
Norm Johnson's kick is good, makes it 56-17 with 1 minute and 29 seconds remaining. And don't forget, coming up next, except on the West Coast, 60 minutes in its entirety. Well, we talked about misery for the Falcons, and last year when they were 10-6 and made the playoffs, the one game they wanted to forget came in game number 10 when the Redskins, and I believe you covered that game, trounced the Falcons 56-17, the exact score that the Niners lead them this afternoon.
And this is a team, though, Atlanta, they're a team that's very emotional, and being emotional can sometimes be a negative, but I think in this case being emotional can be a positive because they can rebound very, very quickly. I think they're able to have a short memory. They'll need it. They'll have 2 weeks to think about this. Their next opponent is the Rams, and somebody's going to have to pay for this. Somebody's going to get some hits. It's either going to be the Rams next game they play or the 49ers in 3 weeks when they go down to Atlanta.
Now, maybe the Rams will get some hits. You know the 49ers will when they come down.
Without a doubt. And they've got to play some of those long bomb passes here when things got a little out of hand.
So the NFC West gets a bye next week. And the one thing they know they'll have in 2 weeks is Deion Sanders back to return kicks and in the secondary. Well, now the Niners are playing for an onside kick, which is a little bit amusing going for it with the score 56-17, but it's been that kind of a game.
Why not? You want to get the ball back. You want to score more points.
And a squib kick right in the hands of Thane Gash.
Good heads-up play by Thane Gash. It's not really common, but Thane Gash fair caught that kickoff, and that is legal. You can fair catch a kickoff.
49ers came in, and I think the Falcons, talking with them on the field, had to be a little wary because last week the Niners did not play well but won. And that's the mark of a real outstanding club when they beat the New England Patriots, having to come from behind to win the game 24-12. You knew they were due for a good one. Steve Bono will just use up the time.
And for Jerry Glanville and these Falcons, Dick, they're going to need this week off. They're going to get a chance to, for instance, Scott Case didn't even make this trip. He's had a banged up pec muscle. He's had a banged up leg. It's going to give him a chance to get back and get healthy and lend a little stability to that defensive backfield that they really need that.
They expect that Case will be back for the Rams game in 2 weeks. And of course, Jeff Donaldson had to play free safety. Normally he is a strong safety, and a lot of shuffling in the defensive secondary to start this game. Inexperienced Bruce Pickens, Lewis Riddick, who hadn't played. Donaldson out of position. And that should be the last play of the game. Jerry Glanville will not be shaking anyone's hand after this one, as the 49ers will go 6-1 on the year, and the Falcons drop to 2-5 and go into last place in the NFC West. Niners still with the best record in the NFC. So for Randy Cross, this is Dick Stockton saying so long from Candlestick Park. The final score, the Niners 56 and the Falcons 17. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League. And the Niners send a message to the NFL today as to where they stand.